Good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the closing argument. Today's Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Rainy day in on the East Coast. Since it's rain been on since when? Since the whole of since Sunday. Been having torrential rain and heavy downpour rain. But it's good to be back on the closing argument. For another edition that we comes on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for now. But it's always good to be back. And Ansu, can you join the Ansu? Can you come on with me? Ansu, Ansu. Susan, it been raining since the 1st of April. April came with the rain, and we're experiencing a lot of rain. But it's good to be back. It's good to be back, especially to discuss trending issues
Working
in our
on it.
country. Ansu,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
yeah. You are clear.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah, welcome.
I was saying it's good to be back. Ansu, I'll start with you, man. Tell me what's the latest in Liberia? What's the news in Liberia?
Why? Today, it was just something I would say that surprised for me. The first day, there's this demolition exercise taking place somewhere around the Keabody junction, just after the Minnesota complex. That should be around the Nigeria house there. All right, so the Keabody junction, there is a demolition exercise taking place. I think that the landowners, the rightful owners of that area, they came in, and those are residing on that place. I don't know whether they were given notice, whether they were informed that this were going to come up with such an exercise in terms of getting people on suspect. So we don't know whether they were issued that information, but it started over the weekend. And to my surprise today, I saw the protester Tomalin heading to the coalition headquarters. That is the CDC headquarters, where they went to ask the former president. Can you just imagine asking the former president to come to the aid on the current situation in which they are going through, and they inform the CDC team that the area or the land in which they are on, they should be the rightful owners. But some of them said they bought that place. Some of them said they bought, a piece of the land. Some of them said they have a spot that they pay for it. But it should be the extended family that owns that area. Some people got it from the brother. Some people got it from sister. Some people got it from the mother. So that's how the entire situation been around that crowded area. And the demolition kick off on the weekend, and which draws serious attention of protesters indeed, saying that we got this place here for these people, for these other people, and they went to the former president requesting for Ambassador George Weah to intervene, and it raised huge concern. It raised huge concern to the public. Why you guys not heading to the current government? But some of them say they put in their call. They have asked the government intervention since the exercise started. They call on the government. They have been, here and there, trying to ask government to come in, but yet so far they are yet to get any intervention from the government. So this time around, they decided to turn around to the former president, asking for his intervention. And President Walker again holds a tier cabinet meeting today with just less than 20 days to complete his 100 days. So that's how some of the training things are going on now in the city. So for my end here, so far I managed to follow from the Keabody Junction. I think if you can see in our our chat room, there are some videos and photos placed there from the protester for the Keabody Junction.
Wow. But they managed to see the former president?
No, but the CDC Jefferson Koji interacted with them, and he told them that they should be peaceful. I think what he told them that they should go out tomorrow. Everyone should come up with their legitimate document, uh, and come out and call on the police to try to cool the things of police should understand that they are dealing with Liberians, protectors who have different things on mind. They have the legitimate documents. They just need to be called on a round table, and just explain their side, how you got this piece of land, how you got to this side. Then everybody come up with the document, who you bought, you're on the spot from, who you got your side from. So I think it's what Jefferson tried to tell the police. So instead of them raising tension, because the first time when this demolition exercise started, the scene was very, very awkward with tear gas and other stuff there, on the first day. And it was like the police against the citizen at that time. So I think that the coalition, Jefferson Koji called on the protesters saying they should be quiet, cool down. The only thing is that usually people should come with legitimate documents tomorrow. I think he said the people have a reason to be out there, so government need to listen to them.
Wow. Well, I don't know about that. And then again, I know there's an issue about this civil service. I just got off the phone with the Civil Service Director General, Josiah P. Joka Jr.
Mhm.
He will be our guest on Wednesday next week. He'll be coming to talk about that memo
Okay.
concerning the civil service. Okay, it's a memo that said that they came from. He sent his circular memorandum to
Mhm.
all heads of the government spending entities. Josiah F. Joka Jr., Director General,
Mhm.
regularization of the PAN status. We wish to extend our compliments and inform you that it has come to our attention that the, the status of over 40,000 civil servants have not
Mhm.
been regularized from 2019 to 2023, and that the proper processing of the personnel action notices
Mhm.
has not been adhered to. We are therefore requesting that all heads of government spending entities with government employees who were added on the payroll during the period of July 2019 to December 2023 and whose title has not been regularized by the Civil Service Agency should work with the respective human resources um, directors to proceed to the Civil Service Agency, uh, yeah, and have the PAN notices properly processed with a grace period of 90 days. Now,
Okay.
he said that when we talked, he said there are over 40,000 government employees that were not employed through the right procedure. So he doing his while looking through doing the assessment, he
Mhm.
found out that over 40,000 of the employees since 2019 to 2023,
Yeah.
they, as far as concerned, the civil service do not have a proper data on them. So he called on all the agencies to, with the human resource directors, should go through the files and with these people, those who claim that they are employed should go through with the HR and then come up with the process of how they were employed and so forth. So he gave them 90 days. He said in 90 days, then the government will be forced to get rid of them. I mean that would be a big one. But again,
That
that's
number,
the
that
situation.
number is very usual.
Very huge, of course. So he says that all these people were employed. They were employed through the right channel. So he wants the HR directors from all the
Mhm.
government agencies to
Yeah.
go through the rank the files and update his office with the proper employment documents of these people. So they have the up to June. So if up to June, if they for instance, if you're employed and you cannot show me how you got employed, all your paperwork and everything, then you'll be affected. I mean, the government will be taking action to get rid of you. So that's, but he will be here hopefully on Wednesday next week to come and tell us exactly what's the whole deal about. But he says that most of the people were hired and through the improper process. So they have to come and show how they were processed. So we'll see what happens. So hopefully we'll have him on next week. He will discuss with us what happening.
Okay.
And also today, as you said, the president had his third cabinet meeting today at the executive mansion, and yes, at the executive mansion, and
With 20 more days, just 20 more days are remain to complete his 100 days. I don't know, Tamale, do we see as a pressure on this president? Their meeting, we haven't completed 100 days yet. Do we see as a pressure?
well, he said the president he ended his 4 day of cabinet meeting with a reminder to order on his ministers and officials of government to declare the assets as required by law. The 4 day meeting centered on the first 100 days deliverables, discussion on the national budget, and key priorities, interministerial meetings, and coordination. The president's legislative agenda, follow-ups on the previous decisions, among others, several other issues. The president encouraged his minister to work together to deliver his promise to the Liberian people. Well, on May 1st, President Bouaga will be 100 days in office, and a lot of things that he said, the promises that he said he was going to do in 100 days will be scrutinized. I can tell you, rest assured, the main opposition party, the CDC, will be coming out strongly to, I can already see, they will come out strong to examine the president's 100 days. Now, the president said that during the first 100 days, no car will get stuck on a major highway. But already, I think that promise has been broken because his Minister of Education, while doing her Southeast tour of the Southeast, her vehicle got stuck on the major highway in Fishtown, in Granjita there. So that's the first thing. And then we also saw some pictures with some cars vehicle getting stuck in the mud. So again, also talking about the budget, the budget is submitted to the legislature. He called them back to session. They were on recess. He called them back. So they got back on the 1st of April, and they started to discuss the budget. And that will be another fight we're going to watch next week, coming in next 2 weeks. I already have some senators already saying that the budget is a joke. I know the Honorable Musa Hassan Bility, District 7 representative of Nima County, he termed the budget as a joke.
Yeah.
He already slammed the budget, and and Musa is a businessman. Musa knows what they call budget. He's a CEO, former CEO. He knows he had a budget before. So, and to be honest with you, there are certain people in the legislature that who are not there for money, but they are there to see reform and teach a transformation. And I can tell you safely that Honorable Musa Hassan Bility is one person who is there to transform the legislature. He's not there for money. Honestly, I know the man good. So, and the budget will be scrutinized. And I know Senator McGill from Aghibi County, he's already raising issues about the Ministry of Finance budget and it's mostly domestic debt. He wanted to explain it better. Yeah, the domestic debt. He want more explanation on that allocation for the Ministry of Finance and so forth. But there are other senators who have been very, very critical of the budget. Don't forget, you have a former finance minister in Amara Kone. He's there, and I'm very sure he's not going to let the budget just slide. He's going to be critical, and he's going to give his own analysis about the budget. So we expect to see that fight in the legislature. for the budget. And also, the president, he promised the Liberian people and the international community that he would have the establishment of a war economic crimes court. But then, after he made it his inaugural address, there have been some snail walking concerning this court establishment, but they have been coming under pressure. The American ambassador for human rights, I think she was in Liberia. She met the president. She got promised that they were going to pursue the court establishment, and then also Congressman Chris Smith came up with a strong statement that the culture of impunity, Liberians should not allow the culture of impunity to exist, and that President Boga promised them that the War Crimes Court will be established. And so right now, President Boga, he has no choice but to move on with this court. The House passed a resolution, voted on a resolution, overwhelming in majority that they wanted this court to be established at the Senate. And then I heard Senator McGill saying that they will be going for a retreat this weekend, and they already have the majority vote that they're going to concur with the House and to move that resolution forward on the president's decks. So it appears that the president now, you have no choice but to establish the War Crimes Court. Grace Arakegua, welcome, Grace.
Thank you, Tomalin. How you doing?
Fine. How's everything, man?
Good.
Everything going on? How you doing, Ansu?
Good, my Grace.
How everything in Liberia?
Every day is a new story.
Yeah, I know. I hear Tomalin talking about the war and economic crimes court.
Yeah, the president's 100 days is around the corner, Grace. By May 1st, he'll be 100 days in office, and that's why he had a cabinet meeting today. I think I heard his press secretary briefing the press that he really concerned, so he wanted to make sure all his cabinet ministers are on the same page with him and briefing them on the issue of the asset recovery. He set up I heard Mr. McGill say again, they're not going to give that committee $1.9 million. First of all, they're now a statutory committee. So, and the legislators do not budget, do not allocate funds, taxpayer funds for a committee that's not established by law. So he's saying that they're going to, that money, instead of, it will give that money, should give it to empower the LCC, because this asset recovery committee the president set up, they are basically usurping the function of LACC. So that's why he said they will empower, they prefer giving money to LACC and the Minister of Justice so that they can carry on the official duties. So that asset recovery team, they're going to receive a heavy backlash. They already proceeded in the wrong way, and that the Supreme Court had to intervene and stop them from taking people's vehicles from them, and they were proceeding the wrong way. So they got a lot of things to tackle. But
Yeah,
Grace,
Tomalin. The assets recovery tax team, I think, is bogus to me, because if the LSCC is there already, all you need to do is strengthen them to do the job. So by you bringing a new group of people in to make more or put more people on the Liberian payroll for no reason why that money you're using could be put into other things that could benefit the country and the residents of the country, I don't think it's a wise thing. I don't know who is advising the president, but I don't think they are proceeding rightly when it comes to that. And many other things, to me, they're not proceeding rightly. But right now we focus on that, and I just think that is a way of just telling the people that campaign for Joseph Waka, he trying to tell them thank you by offering them jobs, because everybody cannot be hired into the government. So they're creating these jobs so they can put their people in just to say, okay, for the campaign. That's the reason why we tell the Liberian people every day. When a campaign is out, you let the candidates speak for themselves. Because these people that own all these different platforms and working around Liberia, will say, and all that thing, they're required to get paid at the end of the day. It means that they want some position in the government That's why they campaign so hard like that. But if you allow the candidates them to stand up in a debate, where America doing, everybody express themselves why. This is my reason why I want to be president. This is what I can do for the country. And you hear the person themselves, they didn't tell you. Instead of you listening to all the propagandists on social media, propagating these people or their visions and stuff, the vision that they never even had, the plans that they did not even say they would do. They will start to lie to the people and everything. Now, when all is said and done, and the person become president, all those people that were yelling and screaming, those loud mouth talkers, they have to get in position. Now it take away from the citizens of Liberia, because when all the people get in position, the money that's supposed to be put into the economy and to help the regular people that don't have government jobs, that are not a part of the government, they just want to live their life and do their business, it takes away from them. So now Joseph Barker, this is a form of him paying the people that campaign for him. And let me tell you, I see some people in the government say they never said fine on no social media. In fact, they didn't want to get the highest positions than those who were yelling and screaming. And now they see people who were yelling and screaming because some of them never were given positions. They are now on Facebook now attacking Joseph Barker government. And that's the roller coaster ride Liberia is always on. Until our people can catch it.
Name for that one?
Until they can catch it and say, you know what? We will not allow this to happen. These candidates, when they're running for president, they need to come forth. Even if there are two different rounds of debate, let them put forth to us what they can deliver for this country and how they will do it and what their vision and plans are for the country. And if they can be able to stand and speak, and they have that strong willpower, you when people talking, you will see the sincerity in there. Like me and Ansu trying to do a business, and we talking. Although some people can be really corny and know how to do it, but when you're doing a business with somebody, or when somebody telling you they will do something, if it's true, you can know it. Especially when you go 1-2 round on it, and you see how fluent they are and how they're telling you and what they can do, you will know the person can do it. And that's the whole nature of a debate in a presidential race. Like people don't allow that to happen for the country. They got their own people. They will just come on social media and all the other places in Liberia and talk on the radio station and scream and yell. And at the end of the day, the people in the country suffer because the government have to hire all those people. And when you start to create jobs, you take away money from the regular people in the country. That's just my point on that.
And another human right group is calling on the president again to dissolve that asset recovery team. That is the United Methodist Human Right Monitor again, calling on the President Barker to dissolve the asset recovery team and saying that money should be placed in the LACC. So I don't know. There are so many calls have been placed now to the president asking him to dissolve this team. Remember again, people at the early stage of when former president we took over, and people say that it was due to some the reason, especially the president not listening to Liberian people at the early stage. You know, there were some Liberians that are getting disenchanted at this early stage again. They calling on this should be either the third or the fourth group again calling on him to dissolve this team. Another Tomalin, I don't know, the place of 1.9 million in which they're requesting for to get this ball started, to get this whole thing started. We don't know whether this 1.9 million was placed in it before they started, how they got the whole thing started, nobody knows. And on the data, we just saw the team on the street and just came on their operation.
Yes, but that's why they are, first of all, they're going to get frustrated, because if you are doing a job and you're not getting paid, you're going to get frustrated, because right now there have been no budgetary allocation for them. And lawmakers are saying that they're not going to give them a dime. Okay. So the president, he will find money from somewhere and to compensate them. And then they are in court. So the first thing they're going to receive, people will resist, people are not going to cooperate with them. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I support asset recovery and so forth, but you must do it the right way. If anybody who took government car illegally, that person should be pursued to turn the government property over. But you can't just go and take somebody's car and say the person, because you heard that they car for Grace. So okay, because Grace was close to the president or working in the government, so I'm taking Grace's car. or taking the car, and then what's the reason? Why are you taking the car? People have been asking the question, and that's what's been happening. So it's just not fair, and so people have been criticizing them. It's something to do with the tenure of opposition. Now the Supreme Court listened to arguments, I think, on last week Tuesday. So waiting for the Supreme Court to give their opinion on the issue of tenure. All these things are in court, and with the president, first 100 days, he found in most of the stuff he's doing is they're going to court. I don't think it's proper. I think it's an issue. So we're looking forward to see what happens. But that's what these are some of the problems they've been facing since they got in office. And like Grace was saying too, there's some of our friends who left the U.S. and were in Liberia, and they're bang and say they love the country, they're making sacrifice. But if your kids are in America in private school or in college, and you told them you're not going to let them get student loan or put them in financial debt, and you're paying the school fees from your pocket, and you got to pay your mortgage, you got to pay for your car note, and you got to live comfortably. Tell me, you're not going to go Liberia and say you're making sacrifice for even if paying $3,000 a month. You can't be living Liberia and also helping to support. Say maybe your wife or your husband got a good job that maybe making almost 200,000 or so in America. Then you say, well, okay, but then you can go make sacrifice for the country. So at the end of the day, most of our friends, don't let them fool you. We know them. We all hang out together in the States. We socialize. I'll tell you, if they go in and they'll depend on the salary they're going to be making, it's a joke. It's a joke. So, but as I said, give it the next 6 months to a year. Most of our friends will come back to the States. They would first tell you the people are not serious. They want to change the country.
Yeah.
But the people are not serious. So look, people are not serious. They want to change the country, and they're not ready. So I'm coming and waste my time. I'm coming back here because my children need me. Because and some of them, I heard some of them already. Like I told you the story. I won't call her name, but they appointed a lady last week, and Kev told the lady how much she'll be making. She says it's a joke. Yes, I'm telling her what you'll make. She said no, it's a joke. Stop it. Don't tell me that stuff. I will leave for her to go make that money, like bro. That rescue team is on making sacrifice. So that's what happened. It's not easy. So and let nobody fool you. And then some of them too, they keep lying, and that they will get appointed, will do this one. But look, I was in Liberia during President Taylor government time. In fact, my friend was President Taylor brother-in-law, and he hired me to work with him at immigration, and where I knew that how government can really move, honestly. And no Taylor government on a sanction, it was tough, but yet and still they were surviving there. So he told me the government are on a sanction, but they were still making ends meet there, but trying their best. But I tell you, it's not easy thing to work in government. You say you really want to sacrifice.
But you got to understand too, most of the people that leave here to go and work in government, most of them can better find jobs here. Some of them got some crimes that they committed here, so they cannot work in the people's system. So they will go for all these, under the table jobs or work to the other places that are not ready, the kind of work that they want to do. So they would prefer to go to Liberia and settle for a $500 job a month instead of staying here to work. And then you got to understand too, now going to Liberia is sweet for them. They can go out with young girls and they can go out with underage girls. Nobody going home in there. That's why in their mind they think. But we hope that they change the system so those things can stop. I wanted to even tell you, I was just reading an article today concerning the World Economic Crimes Code. Since you brought it up, I wanted to say that there was an article I was reading in an office. I went to my office today, so I didn't work from home. So they had one paperwork that I read. They said there's a lot of pressure from the international community concerning the World Economic Crimes Code in Liberia, and there is a little back. The government is taking a little back seat when it comes to that. Although Joseph Boakai had promised the Liberian people that he was going to he promised in his inauguration speech that he was actually going to establish the World Economic Crimes Code. But it's seen that they are lapsing on his promise to the people. So the international community, they are not happy because of this. And I just wanted to say, oh, here, me and my friend were having a discussion the other day, we're talking. And we're talking, we said, I don't know why is it that Prince Johnson thinks this quote is all about him. This is war in economics. People committed economic crimes as well. It's not only the war part of it. So all these people, they're quote coming for all of them. The people who fought the war, the people who committed economic crimes, they are all going to be part of this court. And they got some people within government, that they think they're the real press people now, walking around. They got economic crimes on them, and they have to face the court as well. So they also are the people that are fighting undercover. But Prince Johnson, I think they use it, and he knows. Actually, he doesn't know. So they use it now when they say it, then he gets so afraid. But there's a lot of people who experience heat when it comes to the war economic crimes code. And a lot of people will face heat. Besides the people that fought the war, the economic crimes that went on in Liberia was a lot. And the people got names that they will be bringing forth. So we are appealing, and we're not really appealing. We are asking Joseph Waka to actually live up to his promise. This old man has only 6 years. I don't think after 6 years he will want to run again. But you never know with these people, black people, even human beings as a whole. You never know. Power can be so sweet. You will be in shock that 2029 JMB will put in his bid again. So who knows? If he alive, he will put in his bid. Who knows what the plan is? But at least for your first, you wanted to be president all along. You were vice president. You said that you were a park car. You never did anything. You still owe us money because we pay you for that 12 years of our tax money because you never did anything. You got money for free. Now you are in the president position. We are saying to you that your promise is a promise. Your campaign message was not that strong. Like Brempo for that, because they thought they owe you something. It was not your campaign message that brought you to that place. It's just that Liberians, I don't know, they got certain time, they got certain word, them, they feel sorry for other people instead of them feeling sorry for themselves. They're trying and suffering. They go to school, but they feel, the man been there long time. This and that, he ran. Papa, we sorry. We made mistake, all that one. They say, okay, they put you there. Live up to your promise. If you don't do anything for Liberia, you want to establish the War and Economic Crimes Court. So your name can remain in history, because the way we see your presidency going, even the 500 days, say not too promising. I mean, to me, I don't know what grade you were on the platform as someone what you should do. And for me, for now to make, I don't know what you were accomplished, because for me, the first sister they said you already failed. So that's just what I wanted to say.
That's true, though. Look, and we'll grade the president first 100 days. We'll see where he stands, and we'll be very, very objective in it. We'll give him. I mean, honestly, if he, like I said, calling for audits, as a retriever, these are all progressive things that people want to hear. But do it the right way and proceed in the right, in legal way, not just doing it just like you want to catch up your political opponents. And like you said, look, there are many of our friends, I repeat, our friends that went to Liberia with the expectation that they will get these big jobs and very lucrative jobs that count with all the trappings. And now some of them are going to, there are already people that are having problems right now. Like, I'll give you an example. I got a whole jig about the whole, the Drug Enforcement Agency. Yeah, Ibi Krumah and his deputies, the Fadiga, they are people, they can say what they want to say, that they are no problem. The problem exists. That problem exists. Look, it's difficult to come from the setting, like in the US setting, and to go Liberia, and then you working, if you're not in an institution, working on somebody. And don't forget, Ibi also live in America. He went to school here. So Ibi knows so he's not a stranger. And AB got his own private security firm. He got his business going. He was there for 6 years of the President Weah administration. He was in the private sector, and the Fadiga brother working in the state studio went there too. He asked to be his deputy, and problem will start, And from what I heard, AB say he's spending money from his own pocket to run the agency because the budget has not been passed. So that the problem will happen, and it will happen to many people that left for me to go Liberia and to work. I was talking about also like a good thing. My brother Fagon smart. Fagon make sure his shop is because people telling me they wanted. I think Peabody went to the shop and his shop is doing well. Fagon nice Fagon, he go like bro say I depend on the people right now. Fagon make sure that his shop is operating while he running LBS and so forth. And to be honest with you, Fagon, what will happen to because Grace, I tell you, wherever you see Spoon doing right now, they are doing a good job covering all the news, get all the news, top on top of the news. You and I know that LBS job, LBS used to be on top of all the thing. So Fagon got to now either try to put LBS back on the top there. Because right now, honestly, I give Spoon the credit. They are playing the role of LBS. They are covering everything. The vice president was in River says today. I see LBS there. I saw Spoon there.
Yeah, but they're covering everything politics. We need other programs to go on.
So LBS now, so Grace, that's why now they have an LBS director general. Politics campaign is over. So Fagon needs now to transform LBS in a way that it ought to be. Like
come up with programs
give all this stuff, but instead
be creative.
That's what he should be doing right now. That's a challenge before him. So LBS should be like whenever they say there's an incident happening, so this thing happened news. LBS should be there. I know they have action news. One guy they call Paul Bean, ELTV action news. They were back in the days, but they had action news. You have Kwame Clement, you had the late Charles Bayon, peace to his ashes. All these people, Aaron Colley, all the guys, LBS were up to date. They're on top of the game, but right now, so Falcon got to really play that role because right now, I'll tell you the truth, Spoon is playing that role for LBS. So he has to now come and put his foot down and say, okay, we got to play our role and get there. That's what needs to happen. Or else then they'll be like, LBS, he said you transform LBS. So let's see.
My question to you is that was LBS the right place for them to put Fagon? Fagon is a political Facebook propagandist.
Honestly, let me tell
you for LBS, you have those. Let me tell you, the people have watered down journalism so much in the country. It's just so sad the way they watered down journalism. So anybody can just come and say, oh, right now they will say, oh, yes, Spoon doing well because we don't know any type of grade up journalism that goes on anywhere in Liberia. So now we needed people in that area. So actually, people who actually have the experience and the credential in that area to be able to lead those entities or those or government or the government entity to say, okay, that person will be able to reform LPS. They will come out, they will create programs, they will create activities that the way Charles Bayon used to be. It was not all about politics. It was covering everything in the country, things that you're not even thinking about. That what will happen. But for you to do that, you have to have the know-how, the technical know-how. So I don't know if Fagon will be able to succeed in LBS. I just being fair. I don't know where he will be because for him it's about politics. He was just putting level all the other day. He made a whole whole video. You see, I will transform this place and my work will speak for me. But you just changing level. How your work coming speak for you in changing the level in the place. So
Gracie, that's a good question. Honestly, if I was a member of the rescue train and advising the president, Fagon should have been the minister of information because look, Fagon is a propagandist. Give the guy his credit. The guy is a true propagandist. He knows he's very eloquent. He knows how to talk. He knows how to make a case. When he was CDC government,
he knows how to change stuff and he knows how to lie.
Exactly. Fagon when he was with CDC, deputy for operation for public affairs. He had a podcast, what he called facts and fiction. Fagon used to make the case. Oh, if this thing was red, Fagon make it a blue. He would frame it. Fagon like that. He's a gifted propagandist, But I think, and then because to what happened during the election, when he went and completed at the CDC and President Weah and everybody. I mean, you think, but I said, no. This guy tomorrow, if the man will do the same thing to me too. You come tomorrow and tell the people, maybe if I fall down, I fell asleep. Tomorrow when I'm pacing or you get back, you tell the people, say, oh, the baby fell down. The baby was sleeping, he fell down. All the things that you start talking. So if they see you people and say no, they keep the man far from it. They will put him somewhere far. But I think they put him to the wrong place for me. Fagon is
I don't even think information is going to be the information minister is too high for him, that particular ministry, they will not need somebody like Fagon. Fagon, maybe he could have gotten to be the president, press secretary.
Okay, yeah. The president, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
he could be a
Press
woman.
secretary, like he can change all the narrative around things when going wrong because he good at that kind of thing. He will change the narrative around, you know, he know how to lie about stuff, so he will be pushing and twisting and turning the truth into, you know, let that be honest here. But information minister, no. But I understand where you come from, Tomalin, because we are lowered the standard of our different ministries so bad that
Will come a time where, honestly, right now, not just the first 100 days we're going to right now, right? But as the going get tough, you need somebody who will be able to change the narrative, because if I go, and the Minister of Information is the government chief spokesperson, so that's somebody who will be able to say, look, to defend the government position on issues, defend the presidency. So like you said, he would have been good at the information minister, proper, or persuaded to the president, because it will come a time, but you can never tell. It will come a time where, when the government start getting a lot of attacks from the opponent, the opposition, you need somebody to fight back, to push back. And Fagon, maybe they'll call Fagon to come in that role, because as LBS boss, you're not there to be talking. You can't be doing the job of Kula Fufana or Jeremy Pia. You can't do that job. And Jeremy Pia is your boss technically, because he's the chairman of the board of LBS. So that he boss. So, and Fagon able to sit in that, look, not for long. I can see it. Fagon it's like you put me somewhere where I like to talk, and you got me somewhere where I can't talk. You know, I will feel uncomfortable. And that will happen.
But the thing is about when you place yourself in a position where it's when you are in a certain position, and then certain things that you cannot be trusted because the way you came and started to speak out. You know that there's confidentiality in any job that you do, in the jobs that we work here. Even when I leave my job today, there's certain things I cannot share. I mean, I signed that paper. Even I'm not working there, I'm not allowed to share certain things concerning that particular job. It's a signed deal, or else they could take me to court. I could be penalized. I could be fined, you know, for doing that. It depends on the level of crime that I committed within sharing that information. So when Falcon came out after he left the WIA government, everybody was very WIA government, yeah. But if you take your time to start to explain deep details on personal, confidential things that went on within the government, you know, and you came out to expose it in that light. After you expose it, you already made yourself known that, you know what, I'm not willing to work in the government again. That's why the whistleblower. You can't, or you whistleblow, and you whistleblow to the public, so everybody hear you say, well, what happened? And you think another person that will come in power and want to trust you in certain key positions, they will get scared. So this is where Fagon was. And that's the reason why when people asking, oh, you're looking for government job, he said, no. So we just thought that he was just looking for the best for Liberia. We didn't know that he was going to accept any position, because he had talked a lot. And at this point in time, no president is supposed to even trust him near anything concerning the government, to tell you the truth.
You know, one politician that I admire is the former chairman of the Liberty Party. Look, let me tell you something. That boy, Ben, look, there have been battles. A lot of stuff Ben have gone through, but you never see Ben go and take text messages. WhatsApp say, let me expose it. Or so for you. Oh,
because you see me in the panel, what are you talking about?
No, but Grace, honestly, right? Grace, look, Grace, I'll tell you the truth, Grace. Look, see Ben, not because he's here, but we got a need for him. Call him. Ben, what a word?
No, I beg you, man. Don't give me that. Grace, don't mind it, boy. Don't mind it, man.
No, but honestly,
you know, holy plenty thing here down there. That people there when they get they die, they get go with plenty information. Nobody will get to know.
People attacking the man when the man write, and when he write a post, they be attacking, calling all kind of name. He can't say a word with them. What kind of young person? And when the day Ben became to the appointment, I was there. I was at the All Liberian Conference at the 8th. When Ben, other Ben in teacher in the senior class, he had some girls and they were there. They attacked, they went after Taylor strong, and Taylor said, what they so? And they told Taylor, say, you got people in jail now that have not been tried. Taylor said, you sure? He said, yeah. He said, yeah. He said, okay, you call the justice minister. Y'all go find out whether that's true. He came by and said, who told you that? So Taylor said, they man, a young man, smart man. Let me just, for the first time in history, I bring one of my advisors. Man, when I was still in uniform, when after school, you go to the mansion and there, but honestly, who he have I'm a president, President Taylor, President Salih, President Weah. I mean, to have been able to sit in the people present and talk with them and then to know them and discuss with them.
But even Joe Bugger, my old man.
No, but yeah, I was there that day when
we just speaking right now, but Joe Bugger, my old man.
You owe a blacklist.
Nah. Joe Bugger, my old man. He's my old man. But told me someone who went to see him.
Want to see him? Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah,
he said
well,
my nephew.
When went to your house. When I house, in fact, when I house that day, and we sat down in his office, and then Keff asking, Keff said that the issue about what he asked me to be a VP. Let me tell you the story. The first time Cummings came to see us at hotel, I asked Cummings. I said, VP Bugger, I asked him to be a running mate. He said no. He said only thing he said was, Alex, Library depend on our two. All he said. But then when Kev asked Bugger said no. I never asked him to be my VP. So when people say, oh, they asked him, Cummings said no, and that, that's not true. That's not true. But look, that's what it is, But I tell you the truth.
That's the kind of people we need in government, people in the pen. Serious, the pen know what I'm saying here. Certain job here, you work in this country. That you lead a job, you cannot say you cannot disclose certain information.
Oh yeah,
you are private from that job. Your people will come after you. There are certain things you can't say. There are certain things you can make people to assume because you said something. They will come after you. So it's supposed to be the same way in our country, but it's just so sad that people work with the government. They will come and they will say everything about the people that they work with. They will even talk the personal thing about the president that they work with. And it's just so sad. And I feel Fagon is one of the people. I'm not trying to say anything against him, but it's just the truth. And when you come out to say that, we don't have problem with that because the public want to know. The public want to know information, but then when you go back and still want to work into government, then we start to get concerned. Okay, we already were able to expose all the other things about the government, which were good for the public. But can the government not trust you? Because you put even our country at risk. There's certain things you will say, you will even put the country at risk when you say, and that's my point.
I said, I'll bet my political ally because that we are going through some battles until we talk unite. And would I heated argument?
You're not cross some battle, eh?
But yeah, but you never see all take it to that level where we go personal way and make it like oh, I will put it on Facebook. There the 10 messages there. I recorded all this stuff there. Look, I mean, like just now before I came, I was talking to Yeke. Yeke said on Sunday, he said Sunday will be the day that will be another chapter. So he said, wait for Sunday and hear what happened. I said, wow. So let's see what happened on Sunday. But Chairman, man, the president had a cabinet meeting today, a third cabinet meeting. And the VP was in Mirror's to see the victims of that muscle, I think. Yeah, and then but what's your thoughts on all these things, man?
Yeah,
and
you just want me to get in trouble because I think I said it today. A couple of things are happening here with this government. By the way, it's good to be here. Grace, it's good to see you. Tomalin, thank you for holding it down. I've noticed a pattern with this government, and it's unfortunate, but I've noticed it now. I think, there is a saying that propaganda win elections, but propaganda cannot govern, right?
Yeah, but they won the propaganda war.
The Unity Party did listen, someone told me, a good friend of mine told me something. He said, I said, Unity Party has the best propaganda machinery in our political landscape. And the person said, no, I disagree.
I don't know how you guys come up with these things.
The person said, I disagree whether that Unity Party has the best propaganda machinery. He said, the reason Unity Party appears to have the best propaganda machinery is because their opposition, the people who they're against, don't have an effective propaganda machinery. So it's almost like you saying that, Lone Star won a game against Nigeria in 1997, I think, or something, or 2000, And automatically, because you say Lone Star won against Nigeria, then it means that Lone Star is the best team in Africa. Why do I say that? I see my friends, I see the government doing a lot of PR stuff, right? They are jumping all over the place. Every time the president have one meeting, which is good. It's good to inform the country. Don't get me wrong, but I think with the 100 days right at their heels, and with nothing to show for it, and I challenge the Unity Party to show me, because we have the 100-day plan. I have it. The only reason I haven't dug deep into it as far as on this show, because I'm waiting for the 100-day to elapse. Then we will go line by line and see whether you achieve this, whether you achieve this, or whether you didn't achieve this. But paramount of all of the things that they promised was this thing. I think, Tomalin, you talk about it, this thing about no car getting stuck in the mud, because the president even reiterated that when he got elected, because they actually did ask and say, you sure what you meant? And he said yes. So today I saw he had his third cabinet meeting in 2 or 3 months, which is a good thing when it comes from the optics standpoint, that the president is working, he's meeting his cabinet, he's doing all of those things. But remember now, this was the same President Joseph Boyka, who was vice president, when he scolded his own administration and said all they did was have meetings and using PowerPoint. And he said every time those meetings ended, his former boss, President Sirleaf, would turn to him and say, Joe, do you have anything to say? And he would just say to her, Madam President, implementation, implementation, implementation. So I'm now turning over to President Joe Boyka now and saying to him, Mr. President, implementation, implementation, implementation. We're tired seeing you meeting in the tea house. It's okay. We know you are working. We know when it comes to the optics and the whole thing about governance, you're trying to prove a point that George Weah didn't do it good. I gave you kudos on that. All I'm saying to you now is let us make it clear. We are now looking for implementation, Mr. President. You have a lot of things that are hanging. There's some low-hanging fruits that I think that you should be taking advantage of. And I'm extremely depressed and disappointed that the president leaving his and for the executive mansion press secretary office to even put in that press release that the president reminded his officials to declare their assets. Do you know what a serious president would have done today? He would have fired all his members of the cabinet who had not declared their assets. That's what. Listen, I'm waiting to see that president emerge in Liberia. Yeah. They say William Arrow Talbot. One of the reasons they used to call him Speedy, because he used to say he was a president in hurry. They said they hire high suit. Listen, I wasn't born. I was born 1981, so I didn't see Talbot. But I did a lot of research.
Oh my God, he's a baby.
Look at I
put him up to my knee, yeah.
all right, and then Grace, Sister Grace.
I enter Grace.
But you see something what I'm saying? One of the collection of books that I have that I read a lot is the Talbot Presidential Papers. And when you read Talbot's presidential papers, you get to see a president that was in hurry. An imperfect man, by the way, who didn't do everything right, but he had his priorities in place. He knew what he wanted. When he said he wanted to take the country from mat to mattresses, you look around, you see all of the estates in the country. That's taking the country from mat to mattresses. The Barnersville, the Garnersville, the New Georgia, the Cabral Estate, all these places, you could see it with Talbot. When he talked about moving the young people being his precious jewels, what did he do? He educated the young people to the extent that some of them came back and didn't want who came and overthrew him.
Exactly.
Some of the very people he went and educated, didn't want came back and overthrew him.
He gets scholarships to the young people.
He gets scholarships to them. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm tired of hearing the president, they used to talk about Joe Weah dressing and bluffing. All the worry about Joe Boyka walking, putting your hand in your pocket, acting like schoolboy. We got time for that, Mr. President. You came that you were going to rescue the country, and we don't have time. For the president today, guys, and this is my last point on this for the other guys to come in. For the executive mansion to put in a press release today that the president reminded his officials to declare their assets. Mr. President, when you walked in that hall, he should have just asked a simple question. Look, God, I pray for the day I see that in Liberia. I pray to see a president like that in my lifetime, where he walks in the cabinet room and say, by the way, Mr. Director General of the Cabinet, do we have a report on who all my ministers that have declared their assets?
Yeah.
And the Director General present that list to him. And if it's even 90% of his cabinet, and he announced to the country at that moment that all of you are dismissed. But you know why he can't do that? Because he declared his asset and he make it public. So he can't do it. I'll stop there.
Wait, but I come in before Lofa and Pew come in. Ben, when Ellen suspended her cabinet, what was the reason at that time?
Ellen suspended her cabinet. Then I remember, oh my God, it was something happened.
She suspended her entire cabinet.
Lackluster. Said there was something about being lackluster, and so she suspended her whole cabinet and told everybody to reapply or something. Yeah. Taylor fired his entire cabinet because they didn't attend a church service. He showed up at the Centennial Pavilion. It was a national. I think people remember that. It was a national event. He showed at the Centennial Pavilion. Nobody was there. He has only 2 ministers were there. I think his foreign minister and one other person were there. And he announced when he
a foreign minister and Joe Robert Monuba,
and the information minister. He stood up on the podium and he announced right there that his entire cabinet was gone.
The chair and which of the minister, they have to write a letter and they went to church and to pray over the letter to the president. Yeah. But the only minister that challenged President Taylor to that process was the former Minister of Education, Dr. Evelyn Kanaka.
Yes, Kanaka,
she refused to apologize. She said the president did not appoint her to go to church. The president appointed her to do her job.
Exactly.
So she stood
and he reinstated her. He reinstated her.
He reinstated her on that.
She was one of the great
the woman minister.
I get to Taylor had a tough cabinet though. Just like your honor sanction, but he had
a tough cabinet, and he was one of those presidents. If given the opportunity, he had a mindset of Torba, as Ben was just narrating just now. He had a mindset of Torba. Taylor was, and that's my perspective, right? But because I studied him very well, and he was those kind of a leader that I couldn't take. He was not the kind of element that you could get dictated to easily, right? So he had a view to take, and he was, maybe if you count him charismatic leader in our country, he was the most charismatic Liberian president and the most eloquent Liberian leader. I will pair him to Torba and Taylor. Reverend White described Taylor as one of the best African leaders ever he interviewed. Reverend White did that. So I mean, but again, Liberian leaders are known of making those kind of I don't know. I don't want to use the English word, but it's good. I want to respect them. But again, they come up with this kind of a cosmetic way of doing things, and in no time they drop off again. But I mean, the country will have to move on. But I will slightly disagree with, if I were to give him the chance to move on, slightly disagree with Ben on the process about the president dismissing his cabinet because they didn't declare he was reminding them of this today. But what I would say, the executive marshal did not, because if the executive marshal were to come out and give them ultimatum and say, okay, you got this ultimatum through, then I would say the president should. Now, so this reminder today is going to serve now as an ultimatum, basically. If the next time he will have to come back and restate this thing, I mean, there's no ultimatum given to them. And so if there's no ultimatum, you say, okay, I'm appointing this person, and that ultimatum is not given. I see Lofa trying to disagree with me on that. But that's my perspective, basically, as to reason. But again, the president should set some major example moving to some of these things and wanting to give, because if I were to come out, and I'm in a class, I'm a classroom teacher, for instance, I'll give my students some guideline of the leader, give them, because the Constitution of the Republic is clear that they say by the way of pleasure of the president. So probably he did that today as another way of reminding them. And I want to be clear here, too many, that I'm going to be reaching out to set ultimatum in moving the governance process forward. But again, we have to be very clear. And the 100 days coming in today's the 3rd, is it 28 days?
Yeah, today's the 3rd. May 1st. First 100 days.
Yes, it's going to be 28 days from now. The 100 days coming. I'm getting information that the rules are getting almost unplayable now in most part of the country. So we want to see the plan. The Ministry of Public Works is going to job, because the president make a very strategic promise to the people that there's no car going to get stuck in the mud in the country, and most of our major road connecting to other political capitals in our country county capitals. Most of those roads, with the exception of moving from Monrovia to Ganta and into Banga. So we have two capitals that are connected now. It's Banga, it's Ganta, it's Buchanan. Just three. Probably Tottenham is still bumpy, very bumpy. A lot of potholes moving into Tottenham. But the rest of the counties is very difficult to reach. It's a very difficult terrain. So I think the government is going to put into place. I will hope this what the president is saying is true, because even moving into the last time I was in Lopa County, my motor vehicle got seriously damaged. I had to spend more than $1,500 to have it repaired back to Monrovia, sent back to Monrovia, and repair the roads from imagine Sarai to Zozo, less than a 40-minute drive. I mean, it was very, very terrible, very terrible. So I would hope that they would do those things, but we need to put into place a major process in the governance process of our country. It's important that we put into place those guidelines and move the country forward. Because if the leader, Liberia is one country, if the president is moving more deep into a situation, everybody will follow the leader, right? So I think it's important for us to witness most of those things and see what's going to happen. But we want to see what the budget process is going to call for. And I listened to Minister McGill a few days ago. He's putting up some issue about they're going to look into the budget issue, and the confirmation process is also ongoing. So we want to see where we're going to do some analysis as to how we forging on in terms of government own engagement, in terms of what they're going to do. EDC, I learned, is maybe the rain is not coming. Probably it will move in a little bit. It will stabilize in giving electricity to our people. But if you came to rescue, you have to just get focused and get the job done and move to do things that you promise the people to do.
Look, I hear you.
Good to be back here, lady and gentlemen. You know, I know I sound much more redundant when I say I don't expect anything to happen in the next 100 days. But I want to start, first of all, the conversation from where Grace, Ben, and even Sylvester spoke of. What I have come to realize, some of us who have been in Liberia politics just a little bit, not much, but I have come to realize that we fantasize on people's eloquence, not the impact that is made in government. We focus on how eloquent you are with the just being that guy who is flimsy with your utterances and the political jargons. Then we say, "Man, this guy is great." In the case where I heard all of you here comparing a tyrannic leader like Charles Tiller, okay, to a leader that young people can look up to say, this is how we're supposed to move Liberia forward. I see you guys are here healing him, making it seem like, wow, he was a great leader. And you wonder why the likes of Joe Boykai and other people would simply just tour the streets with cameras behind them and don't expect to do anything, because they believe tomorrow they can stand in front of the camera and just tell you anything. And you're not going to look for results, because much often our mindset is not result driven. We are simply looking at how flamboyant our leaders are and our connection with these people. It makes them to be good leaders. When our institutions, our academic institutions, our education, or healthcare, security, all of these things are in a state, deplorable conditions. We're not looking at that. We are not focusing on what impact we have made. If you, and I'll say this, if you or anybody have been a part of any institution and you cannot speak of your success, positive impact to that institution, rather you speak of the longevity, your tenure at that position, you have done nothing. I hear people who will just speak on how long you have been a part of Liberia politics. For Christ in heaven, we don't have politics in Liberia. We do not have politics. We have a bunch of politicians who are simply dwelling on the gullibility of the state. They play on the minds of the people, get to their position, and then ignore the reason why the people elected them in the first place. We're not setting good example for the young people to really see. And almost every day, we continue to just avoid the reality here. You guys spoke about Eugene Fangon. LBS is not supposed to be that institution where you just come and talk. This is where innovation plays. This is where creativity. You must come in with that technological understanding of how you can advance, because you're now competing in the technology world. You want to look at the best and the brightest and say, what technology can I utilize here at the LBS that will draw people's attention to this institution, whether it is just media, whether on the radio, television, all of those things you look at. Then you want to infuse programs at the very local level where you're bringing programs in the community. People are tuning in that will educate these people. And internationally, how can we actually get LBS to be a part of the international broadcasting system that people can tune in and get something for Liberia? In the case of sports, LBS should be represented at every sports event that Liberians are participating in. We should be able to broadcast those events in Liberia so people can go there. In the case where Lone Star is playing in Togo, LBS should be able to broadcast it at the stadium where Liberians can go in there, pay $10 or $20 and watch that game on the projector. This is how you think innovatively, not to just simply say, oh, I've been around here for a long time, but what impact? What positive impact have you made that when you're no longer available, we can look onto and say, you know what? While you were here, this is what you did. Positively, you impacted Liberia in this way. And we're not doing that. And this is the reason why the likes of Joe Boycott and other people will continue to ride on us, for which they will stand in front of the camera and say he's asking for his colleagues to provide the asset declaration, where he himself, who promised that he will declare and publish his asset, is yet to do that. He's making mockery of us because we will sit right here again and say, nevertheless, he did his part. Like in the case of Peewee, talking about we should give them ultimatum. You kidding me? These people did not know that they needed to declare their assets and to some extent publish their assets. You are here talking about giving an ultimatum.
I didn't say no. Let me correct you quickly. I'm still here. I didn't say we should.
Yeah, after Peewee, I want to say something to also.
I didn't. Yeah, quickly.
I think we're having a very nice, great conversation. I didn't say we should give them. I didn't say we should give them ultimatum. I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I said, I said I want to believe the reason why he didn't dismiss them, he didn't give them ultimatum. That's what he was reminding them. He didn't give them ultimatum. I'm not the one saying. I said something else. No, it's the president. He tell me how he runs his. He's the chief executive. Is the president. They sell the way and the pleasure of his thought process. And quickly, let me say something about. Let me also say quickly something about the child setter situation here. The reason why I still believe, and I would say that anywhere whatsoever, that I believe that Mr. Taylor was one of the most charismatic and one of the leader of Liberia, if given the chance, he would have done some things in that country, because I studied his mindset and I studied his approach. And remember here, Mr. Taylor did what he did because there was a time of war. He was being attacked. Mr. Taylor is not a tyrant. He's not a tyrant. There are other people in the world that the United States is doing business with, and they accept the government. So you think Kagame is better than Taylor? You think Museveni is better than Taylor? I can't remember. You think Museveni is better than Taylor?
Course.
You think they are better than Taylor?
Many ways.
In terms of getting up their people, you think so?
Yes.
There are other leaders around the place. Mr. Taylor is not
Charles
a
Taylor
tyrant.
can never be and should never be compared to Kagame. Charles Taylor should never be compared to Kagame.
Let me say this
You
now.
think Kagame is only up?
Let me say this.
Kagame is a tyrant.
Yeah, but guys, let me just like Ben said, everybody
after you told me, I would like to.
Everybody entitled to their opinion. But let me say this: in 2005, we had some of the best candidates on the ballot. We elected President Salif, okay, she was a great woman. The same thing, count 11, 17, and so forth. Okay, so if Lofa is trying to say that people, look, you've been preaching for the last 2-3 years on various mediums, right? Already been telling the people. They posted down that they're going election. Okay, you told them, you tell your guys on who can is there. They posted move from there. They settled down with Boyka. Okay, so and take it or leave it. People will praise people who they believe. They will be very objective in their praise and giving praise to people. That don't mean to say that they satisfied with the status quo. No, but understand this. So far you can talk from now to Judgment Day. Like people go vote again, they will vote the opposite way. How the people hate. So and you just be hitting your head for nothing. So, but honestly,
so can I come in there?
Expressing themselves honestly, and again, I will repeat. Taylor was eloquent. Yeah, you can question his governance style.
But that's what I said.
Yeah, you say that, but you not give you will not take the fact that he was not an eloquent leader, and besides that,
he was charismatic. He would take that for him.
Benjamin, don't forget. Let me let you know today.
I wish you guys would have allowed me to land, but I'll let
you. You spoke for almost. We listen to you. We listen to you.
Are you ready talking about time right now?
No. What I'm saying is we listen to you though.
The issue
about all black. This was Liberia discovering oil. It was Chastro put his who said Liberia would not be cheated with this blessing. Okay,
yes.
He's put his, maybe you have check on it. He put his feet down and say it's not going to happen. Okay, Taylor allowed the carry of the war to continue in Sierra Leone, and he got involved with the other guy.
That was his mistake. That's all.
He said when Junior tried, he said, if I knew what I know right now, I would have done things differently. So you can't just dismiss it and say, call him honestly, just dismissing that, you know. But again, Lofa, you can preach all you want to preach. I'll tell you the truth. Like Brempo go vote tomorrow. So they will not listen to you. They will vote the way they want to vote.
So let me come in, and I want to say this, and then Grace, and then Lofa can respond, because Lofa, you know, and I love my brother Lofa, but when we talk, I always tell him a couple of things. What we are dealing with in Liberia is not a mistake, and I like to always start my conversations this way. What is happening in Liberia is not a mistake. It's not an accident. We are reaping what we've sowed in Liberia. What do I mean by that? Couple of things to lay the premise on. I did highlight William Arrow Talbot. Mm-hmm. I believe that if Talbot was not killed, I believe if we did not have the coup in Liberia, we will have a different country today. I believe that to my back, in my core bone, even though I wasn't born in the Talbot years. But like I said, knowing what I read, knowing what I see, there's a documentary online, and I asked everybody to go watch it. It's called The Wealth of Liberia. Go and watch it, right? Liberia was an imperfect and unequal society for a whole century. For a whole century. It took Talbot probably 8 years to institute some of the changes that eventually was going to lead Liberia to that country that we all can be talking about. But what was Talbot's problem? Talbot was caught between the rock and a hard place. He was caught in the middle. Extreme society that was getting ready to blow up, and an intransigent oligarch system, the True Party system, that did not want Talbot to bring about the changes that he was bringing. When Talbot even talked about making Jackson Doe his vice president, and I'm speaking all of this thing because of history. I read this history. I wasn't alive, like I said. I know that Talbot wanted to make Jackson Doe his vice president, and he was fought by the True Party. According to them, you can't bring those people this close to power. They will run us out of here. Fast forward, right? Fast forward, Charles Taylor. And this is where I think I tell people all the time, I know the man. I don't want to say I knew because he's still alive. I got to know two different persons. Charles Taylor, the person, the father figure, the one who would deal with other people, then also the leader. Charles Gange Taylor was a leader of many contradictions, but he was also placed in a situation where he had to defend himself. Charles Taylor became president of Liberia. He was always on the defensive. One of the things that I fault him for, I honestly believe that Charles Taylor never was able to graduate from being a revolutionary guerrilla leader to a president. He understood the trappings of the job. He understood the things. But key of it, he was a Pan-Africanist. He was someone who believed, this is the man who came up with Vision 2024. This is the man. Has anybody, Lofa, and I urge you to read Vision 2024. Implementation is another thing. And give me a chance, Lofa.
And Ben, this is
Lofa, give me a chance. Give me a chance.
Look.
Talk.
Right,
That is conversation we're having. We're not, this is good that we're having this conversation, right? What I'm trying to say to you, Lofa, is this. Whether you like it or not, there is a reason why today people believe, and it is a fact, that if you were to take Taylor's name and put it on a ballot in Liberia while he's in jail, he will win an election in Liberia. There's a reason why people say that. Now, the mistake I think we have made over the years, those of us who have had an opportunity to step outside of the box in Liberia, those of us who got a chance to come outside, leave, get a chance to see, right, what everybody will consider good, we ultimately don't like to take into consideration that if we were still in Liberia, if you, Lofa, never left that country, if you were still in that system, you probably will be thinking exactly like the way the people in Liberia think. You will be thinking like the way the Liberian people think. And I think the approach of us looking at them from that angle of they don't know they don't know what's good for them. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know all of that. I'm telling you, Lofa, until we change that approach, all we will do is talk. Because you know what? In a democracy, the minority have their say, and the majority will always have their way. And so my only thing to you, my brother, is as we try to approach how we want to shape our future and the kind of Liberia we want to see, we have to be able to put ourselves in those people's mindset and not see things from the lens of just black or white. We now need to start to see things from a gray area. I will stop there and give you a chance to come back.
Okay, great.
So I'll come back.
Oh, sorry, I think that Grace and then you, Lofa. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to respond to Lofa.
Yeah, that Grace. Then you,
I understand, we all have sentiments and we talk about Liberia, we heard and everything, but this platform is a conversation platform where we come and talk and everybody got a point of view. So although you got your point of view, you might probably not agree with what I said, doesn't mean you should scold me for what I said, because what I said is what I believe. And it left for you to convince me to believe what you want to say to me. So my thing is that I would say again, Charles Taylor was going to be one of the best presidents I've ever had. He never had a chance, and the international community could not stomach him because of the war situation. But he was not the only person that brought the war into Liberia. There were so many aspects to this war that came to the country. And if Charles Taylor was going to be given the fair chance to be a president, I think he was going to do great with Liberia. I was in a meeting with him on the phone. I never met him in person, but what I heard in that meeting with Charles Bronsky, myself in the office and stuff, and when he came in, he spoke. I felt cold on my skin. That's a leader. The people that you want us to recognize to be a leader has charisma. A leader is supposed to have a presence. You can't be somebody and say, oh, because they got this thing. The credentials, experience, presence, everything is built in a leader. Leaders are born. Liberia like to make leaders, but we don't understand that leaders, there are certain people that are born to be leaders in the world. I don't care. You cannot take it away from them. And Charles Taylor was one of them. Unfortunately, what happened with the war in Sierra Leone, I think he was pinned to that war just because they wanted him to do certain things and he could not agree to it, because this whole leadership thing in the world is a deep thing that we don't understand. We just on the surface. But if Charles Taylor was given a fair chance, as Ellen Johnson said, that bro going to be a whole different place and he was going to lead in the right way. I feel that way. I'm not gonna go and get a vote for a president when he come in the room, everybody just like, okay, yeah, yeah, now. No, we need somebody. You can have the credentials, the experience, but you have to have that presence. That when the person enter the room, say, yes, this is our president. When he represent us in the international world, the people say, what? Look at the Liberian president, how he came and he represented us. Not to just look at him like any. So all those things is a combination of how a leader should be like. And that's what we're just comparing now. Chancellor will never be president of Liberia. We know that, but we have to speak on what we know that we're happy. I guess you don't know because maybe you two were born in the 80s or I was born in the 70s. But what I experienced as a late girl in the 70s with President William Aratoba, the kind of life that we live in our country, our the party and the Christmas party and thing they have for us. It was now a small thing like brain will never experience that thing until they can put the right people in again for our children to have that good way of life in the country. That's what I have.
By the way, Senegal new president took over today for the 4-year-old boy, right?
Yesterday,
right?
He appointed
two
Usman
first
Sanko as
ladies.
his prime minister.
Yeah, two.
He appointed Usman Sanko, the guy who should have been president, but was denied.
The man he won
The whole mystique, it's a whole mystique around what happened in Senegal.
President Macky Sall, who was the chosen one for him?
Well, he was his prime minister.
And he was massively defeated.
He was defeated, beaten. It was Sanko who was supposed to run for president.
Yeah.
He was so afraid of Sanko, right?
They put him in jail.
Put charges on him and put him in jail and deny him from running. But you know what he did?
No.
And this is an example. And I told somebody the other day, I says, what happened in Senegal could probably never happen in Liberia.
No.
Because you know what Sanko did? Sanko, a young man, made a decision. He could have said, I'm in jail, so you know what, you don't forget it. If I can't be president, we'll boycott the election. Sanko then picked this fair guy who worked with him, right? And said, you run in my place. And you know what his campaign was? The campaign slogan? Fair is Sanko. And so the King became president and named him as prime minister. So technically, Sanko is the head of government because that's the way the system is.
Yeah, and Ben, the funny thing about it, before when Sanko was in jail, the current president now.
So you guys not going to let me respond to all of your double. All of you all came at once, and I would not respond. Tomalin smartly tried to get the conversation. Let's go to the next one. Look, I like the way Tomalin just smartly switched the conversation.
No, we're not moving from the topic. I think it's a great discussion we're having.
That's good. No, let's move to the next discussion point.
No, Lofa. I think this is a great discussion. I think this.
It is. No, it is. I mean,
we will probably want to get Robert and Larry's point and insight on it also. So respond.
Nephew, go ahead, nephew.
Go ahead, Lofa.
All right. So, but let's get back to the issue of good leadership. Mm-hmm. I think our focus here should be based on impact, result driven. That's what I'm trying to say here. I see where, and Grace, I'm sorry if you feel like I'm trying to scold you on what you said, but let me just, and let's be honest. You cannot say Charles Taylor would have been a great leader, an individual who attempted to destabilize an entire region. You look at him and say, yeah, he would have been. The international community tie his hands. For Christ in heaven's sake. How many other things happened under this man's watch? How many things happened under his watch? Let us now focus going forward. My thought process here is, instead of us having to, whistle the siren around people for how they appear, how charismatic they were, but let's do this. Let's look at the impact. Let's look at what they did. Result-driven leadership is what would take Liberia from where she is to where we want her at. We would never move a step forward if we continue to look at just the trivial part of things that comes with governance. We want result. Liberia is way behind her neighbors. So we cannot sit here and say, you know what? That president was very good. He knew how to dress. If that's the case, then I can tell you George Weah was a great president because he could go out there, all right? He had the relationship with the people. He would play basketball with them. He played soccer with them. He get out there when he get in the streets. All the people will come out, even right now. George Weah will get out of his car and walk. The entire street will be filled. But will you sit here today and tell me, yes, that made him a great president because he's very charismatic and
But
he
that's
can
not
bring.
what we're saying.
No, but what I'm saying here is no. I don't think I'm missing anything. I'm getting the point here. The
You
point
missing.
that,
Nobody told you
no,
before.
no, Grace,
Just
Grace, let me
because
land.
you
Grace,
don't,
let
you
me
don't
land.
remember
Grace,
what
let me
you
land.
said. You
Grace,
cannot take
Grace,
our
let
words
me
and
land.
change it and expect
No,
us
Grace,
no,
let
I'm
him
not
finish
saying
now.
it.
Grace,
Wait,
let him
I
finish.
think I'm listening to exactly what you said. What I'm asking
I
of us
cannot say
here
because
is
you can
we
just, I
should
never
be
lay out on the man before in
we,
person. So I can't tell you that.
well, like I said, I made a comparison to George Weah. So everybody can come out here and say George Weah then is a good or he was a great president, or he would have been far better off than all the other president had he been given a second term. Because if you are to compare some of the projects that he implemented that we can see physically, for some of us who are here today, I mean, you can consider say, you know what, yeah. But we are let's look at things from the bigger picture, man. Let us stop lowering the bar. Let us stop lowering the bar. I hear sometimes people say we cannot compare ourselves to the United States. Are the Caucasians any smarter than us? No, we can do far better. I'll stop at that point.
Yes,
Okay,
Robert,
okay.
Robert,
Look at Robert and then to chime in on the conversation.
Thank you, guys. It's great to be back. Look, I think this is a very great conversation,
I think so too.
but it's a tricky conversation. It's
Very.
one that is being listened to across the country. And I've been on the record, and I don't like to be. I don't want to put myself back on the record again on this issue. But I think that we have to be objective and in our description of the man and I had some time to reflect and to be objective, right? Uh, Here is one fact: I do not subscribe to warlords. I want to get this out the way. I think Charles Taylor, and I'm not talking about the president, and I think that we have to separate the two. I think Charles Taylor was a warlord, and I think Charles Taylor played an integral role in uh, what Liberia is today and by large the sub-region. I also believe that Charles Taylor have taken much more of a burden and responsibility for the unrest in Liberia and Sierra Leone uh, than those who also equally played a part into that situation. And just to put things in perspective, like Prince Johnson, I strongly believe, given everything that I've seen so far, I strongly believe that had Charles Taylor not gotten involved in running for the presidency and becoming president of Liberia, I strongly believe that Charles Taylor today would not be sitting in jail, held responsible for crimes committed in free time. I think like that Prince Johnson, Charles Taylor would have probably still been a major voice in Liberia politics, and he would not have been out there. Now, the president, and I think this is where Grace and others are coming from. The president, Charles Taylor. The president, Charles Taylor, I think it would be unfair to some extent to characterize his presidency as a failure given the circumstances under which he led. The Charles Taylor presidency, and I want to be very clear, I want to be as explicit as I can. I'm not a fan of Charles Taylor because I don't subscribe to warlords. I don't think that Charles Taylor should have been given the opportunity to help fix what he helped destroy. Same way, I don't think Ellen Johnson Sirleaf should have ever been close to the presidency. That's just my take, right? But I like to be fair to the guy. Charles Taylor presidency was very unique, unlike any other Liberian president. Charles Taylor, look, to measure the successes of Charles Taylor, then you would have you would have to open the playing field. Was he given the same support internationally as the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, or perhaps the Charles the person George Weah? Absolutely not. And so,
Samuel Doe.
or Samuel Doe for that matter. Absolutely not. These were different times, completely different circumstances. And so I personally would not sit here from holistically to describe his success. I mean, I spoke with a friend the last time and I said, how could a man so hit it for many reasons and hit it by some of us for good reasons when it comes to his involvement, but the international community, how could a man so hit it, not support it, not given the resources as at all? How was it possible that Charles Taylor was able to form the government that Charles Taylor formed? And I will be on record. I will be on record by saying, even though I don't subscribe to leaders like Charles Taylor, and under the circumstances under which he led, Charles Taylor was able to, and we can talk about the characteristics of these guys later on, right? But he was able to put together some men and women that truly reflected government in sectors that you expect. I'll give you a good example. And you don't have to measure him by where he's at right now. Money Captain. When you think about what the true meaning of a foreign minister, Money Captain, I think, represents that. Money Captain understood the language, the diplomatic language. And if we had a prime minister under Charles Taylor was able to smartly pick a guy. He understood that the international community knew. Money Captain understood the language. And Money Captain was well liked at the UN and in the West. This is the reason why Money Captain, in as much as the international community did not like Charles Taylor, in as much that they hated him, this man was able to communicate the Liberian people business, and he effectively separated the fact that he was working for his country and not perhaps the leader that they did not like. In many areas, he was able to put some really smart people together. Now, did he do the right thing? Absolutely not. But we can't say yet today, given everything that we know. We can talk about the war law. We can talk about his involvement in the war. But the President Charles Taylor, we cannot fairly, describe his successes and his failure with regards to leadership without compared to the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Samuel Doe, and the president and the current president, because these guys are in office and they are given the support to do better by the Liberian people. And so to Grace's point, if Charles Taylor was given the opportunity, the same opportunity, you had all of these embargoes on Liberia. You had all of these sanctions on Liberia. You had the West withholding key resources that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, had she not gotten, would have failed miserably. Had George Weah not gotten, would have failed miserably. You had the West holding off of these. There are two countries in Europe that supported Charles Taylor, the French government and the Indian government. If you add these two resources, it doesn't equate to half of what Liberia needs when it comes to begging. Imagine during the wartime, how we saw begging now. All of the loans that we're borrowing from the world banks to do all of these different projects, yet we can't see the results. Imagine had Charles Taylor had similar opportunity. Now, if he did, what did he do with those funding? What did he do with those opportunities? We can look at that and say, you know what? He was a failure because these things were in place, but his presidency was not one that was normal, and there are reasons why they were not normal. But the man, his character, talking about being charismatic, talk about being feared. There were people who feared Charles Taylor. It tells you the circumstances under which he led. When he got on the radio and he said, the entire country shut. These were different times. One last point I want to make is this. I watched his interview when he went to exile. And I listened to this man. Even I, who would have never subscribed to Charles Taylor. I gotta be honest here. Even me, I was sitting listening to a man interview who I don't like. I don't like what he did to us. I would listen to this man interview and my mouth would be like this. How? He
What means
has
extremely
what
smart?
they call-
You can take it from him.
Yeah, man,
Before you look at me, I just want to
It's
clarify something.
extremely smart.
I
From
graduated
we say
from
opening,
Royal-
get Hollywood. I mean,
I graduated
Am I
from Royal-
audible?
Yeah, we can hear you
Go
now.
ahead. Go
Robert
ahead.
finish them, Grace, them.
Am I audible?
Prof.
Yes.
Kennedy.
Go ahead. Yeah, you good.
He had what it took. I know people calling me, so I'm going to finish real quick. He had what it took to convince anyone, including those who did not like him. I'm just saying, it doesn't mean that to Lofa's point, doesn't mean that he didn't have those issues. What I'm saying is, given the skills that he had,
Including Robin
given
White.
everything that he had Charles Taylor been elected under the circumstances now, as in 2005, as in 2011, 2017, and even now, I think the story would have been different. But is Charles Taylor the warlord? Is he the character that I would embrace? Is he the leader is he my kind of leader? My answer
Probably
to that would
yes.
be absolutely not.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay, thank you,
I want.
I would like to clarify something, Ben.
Okay.
Yeah, Grace, I come in.
I will have to go in and come back. I can hear you.
Information and Robert, his national budget was $80 million. So
Just imagine.
and then Grace and then Professor.
Yeah,
But
I
Grace,
would
before
like
you
to
come
say
in, let me
something
just tell you this
before-
before you come in, Grace, quickly. And even you use this, the Paris Accord, the Paris Donut Conference they have for Mr. Taylor government. They raised Jacques Chirac. I can remember my late father accompanied Taylor to that meeting in Paris. They raised $600 million for Liberian government, but one day didn't come because Uncle Sam said they shouldn't push that money. So imagine. So just go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I just wanted to clarify the reason why I even something about Charles Taylor. Okay, so I had just graduated from Royal Institute of Secretarial Science. I was hired in Councillor Bronskin office with Councillor Tua, Jimmy Pierre, and Bronskin. So when Charles Taylor was coming to Monrovia, when he made that call to Charles Bronskin, I was in that meeting, and when I heard that man plans and the vision that man had for Liberia, his plans and his vision, the way he spoke it, on my skin. We the one who created that teacher said, "Gange, for us the war is over." And I was in that meeting. I know what Charles Taylor had planned for Liberia, and my thing, I follow leaders' plans and the way they represent themselves and the kind of way when they speak, their confidence in their speeches and stuff. And that's why I knew that Charles Taylor was going to do great things for Liberia if he had been given the chance to do it. He wasn't given a fair chance.
Okay, Professor, let me bring up the speaker, right?
Chris, we got a copy of the Popo
Okay.
agenda.
We talked earlier about the president's tier cabinet meeting today. He had a tier cabinet meeting. He's trying to put a agenda about 100 deliverables. And now, but some panelists were they've been radical. They said no. Most of the things he promised in 100 days. I don't think he has accomplished it, and he may not accomplish it. That the car getting stuck in the mud and so forth. And the budget, they just sent a draft budget to the legislature, and already some lawmakers are saying that budget is a joke. They're not even they're gonna barely open that budget and so forth. So, and then we're talking about it, and then we talk about leadership, about leaders, and how come Taylor been in the picture. But just to bring you to speed there. And lastly, look, Liberians, we have been voting since 2005, 97, we started voting, right?
Since 85.
85.
Your first multi-party democracy election was 1985.
We went that when we were voting in 2005. We know how the election went, because I think at the final result, they took them to who is Conference Center.
And told him Hammond to
had they gone all the big barrel gun pointed to the building. Hammond say the election result is destined by God, right? Okay, so how we been talking, and then we saw 97. You came a man. He came and power, vote for him. So and Liberians.
But Tommy, I want Kennedy to also
bring ourselves with these things. But I
want Professor Kennedy to also include in this, because you come from a developmental space also. There was also a question asked to Lofa, and Lofa shot it down. Can you compare Taylor and Kagame? Because remember two things about the two of them. They both were rebel leaders, but like Robert said, Kagame is leading Rwanda under totally different circumstances. Would Taylor have been effective as Kagame has been if he had the same opportunity presented to him in Liberia, because you know Kagame, softball.
He's not a saint.
He's not a saint. Yeah, there's a man who his opponents can get lost even when they're in exile.
Exactly.
Even in exile, they don't get lost in the country when they in exile.
Paul Kagame?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Yes, and that's the reason why I give that example. Right?
Paul Kagame does not have one of the best human rights record out there. So let's just leave that one on the table. You know, the funny thing with Charles Taylor, you look at the situation, it's kind of interesting. First one, I hear people saying that he didn't receive the support. I'm a little bit taken aback because there's no way Charles Taylor was held for embezzling $1 million in a prison in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and then simply walk out of that prison, scale down a bunch of bed sheets, ended up in a unmarked Lincoln Town car over in Staten Island, made it to Mexico, flew over to Burkina Faso, met with Gaddafi. The U.S. had the hands in there somewhere. He had the support. The problem and the issue is, so Taylor didn't really pan out to be who the U.S. expected, because remember now,
that's the issue.
Madam Salif at one time stood before the U.S. Congress, and she sat down. You've seen the congressional hearing. She sat at a congressional hearing, and she used a certain phrase, and she said, look, we need people to go down there and help, because right now we have young people who she was calling freedom fighters. These were child soldiers.
Yeah.
There were child soldiers that she was referring to, but the U.S. was still willing to turn a blind eye and give the support. So when I hear people saying Charles Taylor has support from day one. So here's the problem.
As a rebel leader.
Okay. But here's the conundrum, right? You had Samuel K. Doe, who just had a high level of incompetence, who made it kind of easy for people to want to even bring Charles Taylor in based on what Samuel K. Doe was doing. And this is where, if you look back at the history between Russia, the former USSR, and Afghanistan, because when USSR was trying to invade Afghanistan, Ronald Reagan made an important statement. He said, one man's rebel
is another man's
freedom fighter.
Yeah.
So we can sit down and say, oh, Charles Taylor was a warlord, he was a rebel, he was this, he was that. But to other people, he was a freedom fighter because he was trying to remove Doe. Mm-hmm. It's the same way people in Nimba at some point saw Charles Taylor as a, well, not Charles Taylor.
Prince Johnson.
What's his name?
Prince Johnson.
Prince Johnson. As a freedom fighter because of what was taking place against the Namibians, right? People from Nimba. So when Ronald Reagan said that one man's warlord is another man's freedom fighter, true, but look what happened. Look, the funny thing about history is the same people that he was calling freedom fighter, what happened? Those people kind of re-emerged later. Back then, they were the Mujahideen, right? But they turned around and re-emerged later as Al-Qaeda. And it turned out to be the same people that attacked the U.S. on 9/11 back in 2001. So just how Charles Taylor went in there, he had the opportunity to be this leader. He was very charismatic. Charles Taylor had one thing going. He loved to show. He was a showman. But he has spent a little bit more time with all of the resources like Bureau had. He has spent a little bit more time investing those resources in the people. He would have been a great leader and not be in the situation he turned out to be, because you have so many young people that was now looking for jobs, who were clamoring for this and that. When he had his relationship with the people in Sierra Leone, with the other warlord in Sierra Leone, people wanted payback. And because of that, he ended up in serious situations, and that's why he ended up with the charges that were brought against him and was taken over to the War Crimes Court. So it's a complex relationship when you see how Charles Taylor turned out from being this freedom fighter to ended up being a warlord. So he had the support from day one. So people who say he didn't have the support, you're mistaken. Charles Taylor had the support, because there was no way Charles Taylor could have just walked out of prison from Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Mr. Kennedy, the support is basically for
right.
His president.
He received a lot of money from the U.S. government.
But Larry, let's also bring into context that when he became president, he also let's be, and somebody, by the way, somebody's watching, the former ambassador, former Liberian ambassador to the U.S. under Taylor is watching the show.
Ambassador Stevenson.
Ambassador Richard Diggs.
Richard Diggs, yeah.
Yeah. So she just texted me a couple of things, and the things that I'm talking about though is you have to understand when he became president of Liberia, one of Taylor's famous, like I said in the beginning, he considered himself a Pan-Africanist, right? And I think that's where Tomalin or Peewee compared him to kind of like the Talbot mindset, right?
Oh, yes.
Where it was like, okay, listen, this is what one of Taylor's famous sayings when he became president was, the days of Washington picking up telephone to instruct Monrovia, those days are gone, right?
He refused to bow.
I think he was a little overly ambitious. That's why, Robert, to your point, when you watch that interview in Nigeria, when they asked him if there was anything you would do different, he said, his relationship with the United States.
Washington, yeah.
He regrets that he was misunderstood by the United States, and he also sent a caveat to future Liberian presidents that no Liberian president will be successful if we do not have relationship with the right relationship with the United States. So my thought process, though, is, and this is where I wanted to go with what Lufa was saying, right? When you look at Rwanda, you got to understand what, and that's why I think Kagame and Taylor, I can compare the two of them. Let me tell you why. Let me say this, because I believe what Kagame has done, Kagame has played effectively the victim card on the West. Because of that genocide, because of everything that happened in Rwanda, and the West literally sat down and watched it happen, every time they attempt to even push back against Kagame on some of the excesses that are happening in Rwanda, right? He reminds them that, listen, the things that I'm doing here because I do not want what you sat down and allow us to do to ourselves to happen again. So when it comes to the issue of Liberia and Taylor, I agree with what Robert said. The conditions, the presidency was just totally unique. Different time, different circumstances, but there is the irony, guys. It has been tested. And you know how it's been tested? Charles Taylor's ex-wife was just the former vice president of Liberia. If you look at all of the players in this current dispensation, majority of the players in this current dispensation got some kind of relationship to Charles Taylor one way or the other. And also, there is this notion that if elections were held and Taylor was to participate in any election in Liberia, even today, he will win on the first ballot. Remember, he holds the record of winning with the highest percentage, even though people can say, oh, people were afraid that they voted for him, right? But they actually win and they voted for him. So, I mean, we can go around
but here's the
let me just say this really quick here, Ben. I see you continue to emphasize on the fact that if Taylor were to come back and participate in an election, he will win, and you're making the point using his wife's position because she was elected. Then maybe we should consider the fact that your good old friend Menepakai Domoye, did he not run on the campaign agenda that he will free?
I'm asking you a question directly. No, I you one question directly. You will continue. One direct question. Do you believe that if Charles Taylor was to come and participate in an election today, he will not win? Yes or no?
No, I disagree with that. I don't think Charles Taylor will win an election in Liberia. I don't think so. Maybe
Lofa, I think you are, unfortunately, I think you are divorced from reality in Liberia.
Yes,
I think you are.
Ben,
this is not a dig at you. This is not a dig at you.
Let me tell you what Ben Sanvee is saying and disagreeing with you, because look, at the basic level, election comes down to a popularity contest.
Thank you.
Exactly. This is not about deliverables.
Yeah. The most popular is not sometimes the most competent.
Do debate.
Are you kidding me? Lofa, do you understand? Do you know one of the reasons the West still got Taylor in jail? Lauren Gbagbo, right? President of Ivory Coast. All former African head of states who had the same issue that Taylor had. All of them did not release them.
They released them.
Charles Taylor's gift is his curse.
They understand his skills.
His gift is his curse.
It was never because Charles Taylor, they're not afraid of Charles Taylor coming to Liberia to run again. No, I think the impact this man had as
No.
a parent.
No, the reason, no.
No, don't, no. Let me say this. No,
Let him finish. Let him land. Let him
his
land. please.
tyrannic behavior, all right, his decision to attempt to destabilize the entire region, and he started doing it. He started with Sierra Leone. This is
Lofa.
reality.
Lofa.
So I think this man
Lofa.
literally, it's not because they're afraid when he comes to
Lofa,
Liberia.
let me give you an example. Let me give you an example, right?
There's people in jail.
Lofa, I want to give you an example.
Ben, let me ask
There are
Lofa
two.
a
There are
question.
two realities. There are two
Ben,
stories. There are two.
let me ask Lofa a quick
One
question.
quick.
Quick question. Lofa, quick question for you.
Mhm.
Do you believe that Charles Taylor is popular in Liberia?
I know people know him, but would they make the conscious decision to elect him as a
Answer the
president?
question.
I doubt it.
Lofa, answer the question.
I doubt it.
Lofa, I'm glad you're answering the question I didn't ask. So let me try it again.
Exactly. Answer the question if they ask you.
Let me try it again.
Answer the question if they ask you.
Do you believe that Charles Taylor is popular in Liberia? Yes or no?
And I repeat, I accept the fact that he's well known in Liberia, but he would not be.
Talking about.
Okay, Ben, go ahead. He's not going to answer the question. So go ahead.
I'm answering the question. I'm telling you.
Lofa.
I need to answer the question.
Lofa, you know, let me tell you. I just want to give you. I want to give you the small picture.
Yes or no? Do you
Lofa,
want
let me give you the small picture. I beg you. There are two narratives, and everybody on the platform who remember when Taylor was leaving Liberia. There are two narratives out there about when Taylor was leaving Liberia. And you know why I'm bringing this up? It's because I hear you regurgitating the same line from the international media.
No.
Right?
No.
No, wait, let me finish. Let me finish. Lofa, you may like what I'm about to say. I hear you repeating the same thing. There is this notion that when Taylor was leaving, people were celebrating on the streets in Liberia. There are stories out there that when Taylor was leaving, the whole country was happy and the whole country wanted Taylor to leave. There's also, when you talk to people I wasn't in Monrovia. I was in the States by that time. When you talk to people in the country, the people say that people were not happy when he was leaving. There's two. So I'm trying to paint a picture to you of the complexity of the Taylor relationship when it comes to Liberia. The complexity of the Taylor relationship when it comes to Liberia, right? That people believe that at the end of the day, he is still enormously popular, that if he is giving a chance to, listen, Lofa, Taylor is in the last election, Tomalin George, Taylor called his party faithfuls.
Yes.
From prison and
2017. Yes. They go back to
and
base.
instructed them.
Yes.
And why you think they went and voted the way they voted for CDC?
Let me jump in for a second. Let me jump in for a second. I think Larry asked. I think the question. Let me say this, and I think Lofa is making. Lofa is making a moral argument.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's what I keep telling him.
Yes. He's making a moral argument as opposed to reality on the ground.
The reality.
And so to that fact, why
Lofa is talking about his dream, the Liberia he's dreaming.
And I agree with you on the moral aspect of it, but the reality is a little bit different. Right. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Robert.
So I want to be clear here that when it comes to the moral argument Lofa is making, I'm on his side, which is the reason why I said that Charles Taylor is not my type of leader. But we got to be honest, though. Yeah, we can have our own personal feelings about the person all day. But the truth of the matter is, the reality here is, and I stand corrected.
Sorry, brother. Go ahead. Sorry.
And I stand corrected here. But when the question about if election was held today, can Charles Taylor win an election in Liberia? I mean, it's not about whether or not Charles Taylor can win on grounds of being the quality leader or the type of leader Liberia needs right now. The answer to that question is yes, because Charles Taylor is largely popular. Not only that, Charles Taylor still has immense influence, political influence, when it comes to our political systems. And so the only individual in Liberia right now that could give Charles Taylor the run for his money outside of debates, outside of eloquence,
it's George Weah.
Of anything, is George Weah.
Even at that, because beat him massively.
Yeah, George Weah is another leader in our country where you may not like his politics, you may not like the fact that he's not he's not the guy who used all these big vocabularies. He's not a guy who, but like Taylor, very charismatic. Like Taylor, people just love him, right? You may not understand why they love him, but they're able to move in the city. They're able to get people behind them, and so let's separate the two arguments. Morality is one thing. Reality is another thing.
Like I say, Robert, the Liberia we dream of is different than the Liberia we have.
Absolutely,
That has always been my argument.
And
right?
I think that even me, Ben, I'm so fussy about this mindset because I can't. The mindset of my brothers and sisters in Liberia, but it's troubling to me too, right? But to your point, what would have been my mindset had I not
Have you not left?
What would have been my mindset had I not gotten the education that I have?
Exactly.
What would have been that mindset? The problem, the task that is at hand right now is how do we work together, not separate apart, not trying to say I'm better than them. How do we work together to bridge that gap with regards to how do we think and how our thoughts play an integral role in our actions and what it is that we do, what we believe in. How do we think? Because the truth of the matter is, to Lofa's point, I don't think we should be electing leaders simply based on popularity. I think there should be something more to that, right? So then how do we start having this conversation to say, look, yes, this person is popular, but what is this person plan for your kids' education? What is this person plan to fight corruption? What is this person plan for infrastructure development? What is this person plan? And how do we start establishing true political institutions around ideas and not just religion, ethnic background, and friendship? How do we start to really change the system? But Charles Taylor, like him or hit him, Charles Taylor, without a doubt, remains an influential figure in Liberian politics.
Okay. Let me throw this out there. Maybe we'll go around the table.
Welcome, welcome.
Let me throw this out there. Do you guys believe that if Liberians we don't vote on issues, right? But you think if we interject debates and make it a must that everybody who runs for president should take part in a debate, you think it would change the result? Election would change, or it will still be popularity?
Well,
I'm coming because right now there's somebody now is from the GMB came saying that he can become the best president Liberia will have. I don't know what it means.
Oh, he can.
Yeah, somebody saying it right now, right? But do you think if they say Liberians were voting on, let's say, okay, we have a debate and on a very issue on the economy and the social everything, you think it would change the result of our elections?
Tomalin, Kev, welcome Kev to the show. He will join. Kev, I'm sure you've been following the show, so we got to recap, right? So
let me ask this question. Why do you think
right in the conversation?
What would be the essence of a debate? Wait, 1 second, Ben. What would be the essence of a debate? To your question, whether or not the mindset, and I want Professor Larry to probably chip in on this question I'm about to ask. What would be the essence and the impact of a debate with regards to changing the mindset on who is a better leader when those that are supposed to be voting, those
you just took my argument. You just took my argument.
Still have the same mindset.
Tomalin,
but guys, let me be honest, honestly.
A majority of the voters, right? You see, one of the things that I think the mistake we make with Liberia.
Right?
Yeah, Grace, you coming right after? Yeah, one of the mistakes I think we make is because we imported the U.S. system into Liberia, we believe, and I find a lot of us who have left the bubble. I call Liberia the bubble, right? Who have left the bubble. I find a lot of us imposing that on the society. Listen, the Oma in Jelejua is not listening to a debate, but she has a vote. She's not. I think the issue of debate is good. Don't get me wrong, because it will appeal to the intellectual class. I think it will stimulate the conversation in the urban areas in the country. But I think getting us to start electing leaders based on tangibles and records and stuff like that, I think there's a long way and there's a lot more to do than just organizing debates. That's what my process is.
Ben, I disagree 100% because the Omar in Trade Town in the remotest part of the county, we come from a country where, and the Ghanaians are doing that. We come from a country where, even though English is our main language, but we have 15, 16 different dollars, right? And so the Omar in Trade Town may not benefit from a debate that simply focuses on the Queen's language and that. But if we are going to vote for people based on tangibles and record, then those people who have done something have got to be able to articulate what they've done and why they deserve to be elected. So, to your question about whether or not that Omar in Trade Town, in any part of the counties, will benefit from that, is how do we translate what is being debated at these debates so that those people out there can understand that. We can make that happen, but we have to encourage the system of debate. The same way our presidents can go on a campaign trail and have town hall meetings and have these different things in the city, they go to counties too. Are they actually having a debate-focused campaign, or are they just singing the song to the folks? So they should be able to go to Nimba County, Grand Cape County, all of the counties in all of the different districts that they're asking the Omani who don't know how to speak English for the vote. They should be able to communicate with them, even if they can't speak those dialects. They have translators. People can translate to them what they're saying, and these folks should be able to make the decisions not just based on tangibles, but based on what they've done and what these people plans are. If a guy like Alex Cummings wants to go to Nimba County to campaign in Nimba County and have a town hall meeting, he doesn't have to be able to speak Nimba or how you call it, what's the dialect Nimba?
Mano and
Mana
and Gio to be able to go and communicate and engage with the folks. You should have people who are interpreters, people who can translate that, so that he's able to go there and say, look, I think I deserve your vote and not Prince Johnson. The people who praise Prince Johnson, I mean, let me on this note. The people who actually have been right, should Prince Johnson, Nimba County should not only be for Prince Johnson only because Prince Johnson is from Nimba County. It should be because people, I'm just saying, that's how we changed it, my man, because guess what? No one will have any opportunity to go and win anywhere else if that's the case.
Good. Grace.
It seems to be a monologue now between Ben and then so.
No, they said we're going around.
Going around now.
Yeah, go ahead, Mama.
I surprised you, Benjamin Sanvee, for you to sit on the platform and tell us that we shouldn't have debate.
No, that's what I said.
What you said?
No.
Let me clarify what you said.
No. Let me clarify what I said. The question was, if debates will change the trajectory. My argument was, I'm not saying don't have debates. I'm saying that a vast majority of the voting population may not be interested in debates. So you can have debates, but it will appeal only to the intellectual class. That's what I said. So I'm not discouraging debates.
I disagree with you, sir.
Yeah, the people are interested in debates.
This is why I disagree with you.
Well, I like Robert answer. Robert addressed that issue. But go ahead,
what debates will be very important in the Liberian election, especially when it comes to the presidential election. To me, they should have debates in every election. For even senators, they should come there and be able to tell the people, give their viewpoint. The people will be able to ask them questions. Other things. The reason why I think it's important is look at what happened. Henry Costa did debate for Henry Costa told the people in debate for 3 years straight. What Henry Costa was doing, you thought I was just a podcast. He was putting the debate down in another form, telling the people to just vote for Joseph Waka. That's what he did. The propagandists, Fagon, that debate he was doing as well, telling the people what to do and why they should vote for Joseph Waka. Even if he spelled all lies, that was debate in another form. The people need the actual candidates to be able to stand up and talk one by one in a setting other than there. Lay that platform down and tell the people, say, look, this is why I want you to vote for me. This is why I have done in my life. This is, everything, so people be having a chance to know these people personally instead of other people telling them who these people are and lying with the information. And that's the reason why Liberian people need to hear they should make it mandatory that all presidential candidates go for debate. because we're looking at the way you present yourself. We're
No,
looking
not
at
wrong.
the people. We're looking at the experiences you say you have. We're going to do research on it. The people will come back again to ask you those questions on those things. And the people in the interior, they are hearing these things. They're supposed to be in all the languages the dialects. People there interpreting what they're saying in the dialect and making sure they're interpreting the right thing so that Liberian people can get a chance to know who they are voting for. At this point in time, in my mind, I don't think that Liberian people usually will know who they're voting for. They will just be told what the person, the person can do this, the person can do that, the person can do the other, but they don't know the person after that. They just hearing street talk and what people say the person can do. But if the person can present themselves and say exactly what Robert was saying, what they can do, what they can bring forth for the country, and what have they accomplished, it would be it would be to the public, so a lot of people will know that, you know what, the person said that, but they lie, and it will come back after them. But the way Liberians then go about selecting and presidents and voting for them is because the people are not giving a fair chance to know who they're voting for. And that's the reason why they keep on making mistake after mistake. Even this government was presented to us in a way that they were going to hit the ground running, which was a black lie. As we all can see now, they never hit the ground running.
So let's get to Peabody. But just from an information standpoint, my brother John Colley just texted me that debates are happening across the country. The Liberia Media Initiative have debates all over the country.
But
every county. No. Listen, Robert. No.
But most of the major actors boycott that.
Oh, you see, so then that's another argument. So then we just say debates are not happening.
That's why I'm saying they should make it mandatory.
How do you make it mandatory? How?
Oh yes, if you want to run for president, like me, I don't think you can do that.
I don't think you can do that.
They can run for president.
No, Grace, you can't do that. I think even in the world's greatest democracy, it's not mandatory for people to attend debates.
Right now,
Liberians can make it mandatory. They don't have to be on stone paper.
So what would be the penalty?
The way Liberian people can make it mandatory is that if you don't be part of the debate, we're not voting for you. In fact,
okay, then that
we're not voting for you at all because we don't know who you are.
So for me, and then people can come in. For me, it goes back to the people, because guess what? Your political leader, Grace Clarence Moneybar, I think the most interview and the most communication than probably any candidate, maybe next to maybe right behind Cummings, or the two of them maybe were tied. Because I remember one time when Clarence came on the show, he said the interview he had, he said was his 85th interview. I remember the first time he came on the show.
And then on the result, what were the results?
But that's what I'm saying.
Liberian people.
My thing is that you say, what was the result? The election was rigged. Why you're denying it on the platform? The election was rigged. They told us that the Moneybar never even voted for himself in the play. He voted for himself.
That's another debate. That's another debate there. So let's not be with.
Yeah. I think you call
John Colley.
The name of John Colley, someone that's stimulated and
because I don't want us to downplay what he's doing.
Revolutionize the process about engaging in the Liberian political dynamics.
It's called Ducal debates.
Yeah, the Ducal debate, the Zimane. And now he brought the Zimane aspect of it in the Loma vernacular to ensure that it's enjoyment. He tried to interpret that debates and engagement and the rest of that. So he went across the country. He went more deeper into the rural part of the country to enhance the thought process of Liberian across the country. And then he helped the big brother John Colley for that. And he was very instrumental in showing that participatory democracy in terms of sharing our thought processes was shared across the country. He went with that, his full jeep across the country. There was a time I met him deep inside of Bapur County and the rest of that and other things. Before myself, he invited me and one of the fellow around the Bernadette Junction where we took part in some of the dialogue. That was the dialogue and the rest of that. But it's important. And I think, and he was also very key in moderating the debate. Then former President Weah, even now, was John Colley that hit the question when the president said he wanted to speak out the fight that he didn't graduate from high school. It was John Colley in 2005, that major debate. It was President Weah. It was Nathaniel Barnes, if I get it right, and Winston Totman. When President Weah hit that, John Colley was one of those moderating the process. And he always emphasized John's perspective is that people should come and give. And don't get something, mix up things here. Our local people in the villages, we ask, for instance, the one of my aunts that asked me before in Zozo, why are they saying, why the politicians saying today? We, the offspring of that particular generation that are not intellectual, will interpret the result of the debate to them. Debate do matters. I do understand it do matter very seriously, and we should encourage debate in our country. The rural people will understand the issue. When you come, they will say, okay, who's saying what? What is Rawa saying today? Then the grandson will come say, oh, Rawa say when he's president, he will be getting your old boy reso. When he's president, they will have insurance. That then she will say, oh, but then Team Rawa team will be good at what and great saying you because Gray will not do nothing like that. That's the essence of debate. And I think we should encourage it in our country. And the democracy we have today. And so I tell people we just want to move now and say, okay, election is coming out, we'll look for 200,000 and we'll win election in this place. That's all. I don't have to debate anything, but I think the culture of debate is necessary in our country because it will promote some level of sincerity and will bring to bear who is coming to do what. Then we'll start holding politicians on what they commit to us. And that's what people do here in the US and in other part of the Western democracy. It's important that we enhance that. There's no constitutional provision that people should debate in our country. But we do have some we can put into place some policy via the election commission, right? And also have institutions. Like if John and the Zimane John Colley LMDR is heavily supported by a structure of the Liberian government to go across the country, that alone can force everybody to go to the debate. Because if you don't go, they will start telling you, they're running away from this. I mean, and that's the thing. And if John is having a town hall meeting, the people are engaged to ask serious questions to the politicians. Listen to what kind of question people can ask.
Tomalin, please send Chairman Billy say he wants to join this conversation. Please send him the link, please. It's a fascinating conversation.
Hi, Dr. Moniba. Dr. Moniba is watching. Hi, Dr. Moniba.
It's important. It's important. And people like Honorable Bete and the rest of the folks before. Yeah. And do you know what today we democratize the thought process about people participating in elections? Because when Mr. Bete came in 2005 and established Truth FM, at the time they were somewhere in Banjo.
Yeah.
This was meant to push the debate line in the country. We just came from war. Devastating civil crisis. People say, oh, what kind of 2FM folk coming there? So 2FM enhanced and brought the issue, changed the perspective of the Liberian media landscape. Brought people, patrons in government. It was 2FM that brought them. They used to have Crossfire TV, something, and the rest of that. I mean, the late Mamadi Diakite and the rest of it. So it's debate that brought people together.
Thank you, Pee-wee. I want Keff to speak. He hasn't spoken yet, so let Keff come in, and then we'll go to Professor Kennedy, and then Tomalin Lofa again. But you send him the link, Tomalin?
Yeah, send the link.
Okay, guys. Let me say hi to everybody. On this issue of and you guys discussing on debates. For me, I agree with Chairman Ben. Debates, only the intellectual class, I think, will move them. I don't see no country in this world that debates, because of debates, you win election. Not tangible. The reason is because the reason is the mind. The reason is the mindset.
People win election in America based on debate, Keff.
Hey, my man, y'all let a man talk, man.
Let me tell you. Thank you, Peewee. Let me tell you. When we came to this country in the 90s, listen, under Clinton and Al Gore, the country was better. Al Gore went into the election in 2000 with a surplus, tangible, jobs everywhere. You know why he lost? Likability. Because he had everything.
Supreme Court.
He had everything. I think Professor Kennedy will back the, that debate that came on who you want to drink beer with, who can you drink beer with, it came from that. You know, sometimes let's calm down and let's assess it and let's watch it. The intellectual class will buy that. The intellectual class, you see, one thing about America, they will tell you the class that vote for this. They will tell you that they drop out, the college drop out. They will tell you the college graduate. You will see. They all went to Agor. But Judge Bush had the guys from deep in Pennsylvania, all the blue collars guys. These are the folks that will make you win election. They don't care if you. They don't care how much debate, how much this. Likability in America. If we look at tangible, I'll go win the election because the country was booming. He went with surplus.
But he won.
So I go never be the president of this country.
That's
so
that took
so if you look at election upon election upon election, imagine what George Bush came with. His father was one-time president, right? What George Bush came with, governor. What he came with, nothing. But they say they relate to him. And even the Barack election, when you watch, everybody that Barack ran with, especially the first against McCain. McCain came with decorated military guy. Everything. Years of Senate experience. Everything. Again, it came down to likability. He lose election. So we have to debate. I agree with Ben. It capture the intellectual class. But our Omar down in West Point, first of all, Omar not understanding what you're talking about.
Thank you, Kev. We gotta get to that. Let's get to
So debate is fine, but it belongs to certain class.
Thank you, Kev. Guys, you'll get the representative to just say something first, and then we'll continue.
We'll grill him. We gotta grill this.
Yeah. So y'all can now turn your fire to him.
Fire him.
I'm sure you've been listening to the show. That's why you say you want to come and contribute.
I don't know why he called our budget.
It's good to see you.
Why call our budget a joke?
Did you call the budget a joke?
Are you still the chairman?
But yeah, it's a joke.
Wait. Did you say that the budget is a joke, Mr. Chairman?
It's a mess.
Can you explain, please, why the budget is a joke?
Well, good evening to everybody first. Look.
Good evening.
For me, the little book I learned, it defined work to be what? Force times what? Distance equal work. If John Weir gives a budget to the legislature, and John Weir was running the country, and Joseph Barker said, I can do a better job, I can change your life, and he brings a budget that makes no difference in anybody's life and anything, that's I wish I was in my office, I would have used different words. Or Ben, I wish I was on the phone with you. But that's complete baloney.
Musa, you can use any word, my brother.
No, man, on the radio, man.
I will not do it.
No word, Ben.
So at the end of the day, Ben,
word.
What?
Use any word, representative. Use
we're on the radio.
Because the reason why I call it a joke, Ben, it does nothing to anybody's life. One person does not have $1 more than they were making under Judge Weir. There is absolutely nothing new about the budget. Not even the policies surrounding the budget.
Wow.
Not even the budget process. For instance, you say, okay, going forward, the budget process will change. We're gonna do a voucher this way. We're gonna this nothing changed. Now, if you do that, in my mind, what you have done is to say, even though I told you that I'm going to change your life, but you got to wait for next year for that change to come. This 2024, nothing. If the government plans to change this country, it is not in the 2024 budget. Man, I'm a custodian of the budget. I'm looking at it.
Wow.
It's crazy, man.
But if I may, you said not $1 for anyone to benefit. But based on what we heard in the budget shared by Senator Dillon, they said that legislative budget was cut by almost $30 million. What say you about that?
That makes
Where
it
is that
even
money
worse.
going?
And my disappointment in Senator Dillon is that I'm happy that the budget is cut, but you don't ask where you send it.
Where you
That's the
send it.
question. So where is it
Question
going?
that's a question I wish you be
Hello?
asking. What was cut? Where
If you,
did that
if you
money go?
say, I mean,
It's going
we're
to
happy,
the
and we came, all of us campaign on that. Funanti Kofa campaign on that. And by the way, he's doing a very good job because the House of Representatives is standing up, for the people of Liberia. And you telling me that you took $49 million and you can show what impact that reduction makes in the life of ordinary Liberia?
Mr. Honorable Representative, there's another thing. There's another thing. And everybody will have one question. Robert already now asked you one question.
You're calling me my own
Yeah,
name,
your
man.
question
What are your honorable representatives?
Musa, let me say this. Okay, let me call you Musa.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Musa, let me say this.
Yeah.
Something else that have sparked interest in my mind. The Liberian government funded almost 100% of the elections in last year. Close to what, $50-60 million, if I'm right with my number. I'm not too sure, but it was in that period. It was around that ballpark, right?
Yeah.
We are not having elections this year.
Yeah.
Where is that 50-60 million? Because by the way, this budget is more.
Domestic debt.
Is more. Hey, my man, Tommy, leave me on your domestic debt story here. We cannot owe $60 million in domestic debt. Please stop.
But Ben, remember, you didn't fund the budget 100%, the election 100%. The money was coming in.
I said almost 100%, but a vast majority of the Liberia election was funded by Liberia. I can almost say 70% of the Liberian election was funded by Liberia. So let's just say conservatively, we spend 40 million, because I'm being very conservative, but I know it's more than that. Let's say we spend 40 million. Where is that 40 million in this budget? Where was it reallocated to? Do you know? That's my question.
Well, Ben, I've changed now. I'm a representative now. So I operate differently. But if you see me go beyond and use the word mess, the budget is a mess.
Oh, wow.
The reason why it is a mess is because, and not only is it a mess, it's annoying.
Oh.
What makes it annoying, Ben, is that
Well, what's going on with the senator? Representative?
You know what happened to you?
No, I know.
No, let me tell you what happened to you. You're using an iPad, right?
Yeah, iPad.
You're using Apple?
Yeah.
Every time you do a gesture, if you put your hand in the air, it will do a thumbs up.
Yeah.
It has this thing where, that Apple product. It happened to me, Jana, because I use your MacBook. So you gotta be careful with your hand gesturing you do it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So a group of people sit down and draw up the budget. Then all the thought that this is going to be a 4G RA.
4G, yeah.
I mean, Ben, I feel so insulted, honestly.
Wow.
I mean, I feel personal about this budget. To think that in the life that I live, where I pull myself by the bootstrap, did everything that you saw me do to become a representative to represent my people, that you think that you will bring this kind of paper in front of me and I will not go through it.
Wow.
I mean, it's hurting. I'm just trying to control myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pee-wee.
You know, so
Thank you.
look, I'm not being political. This budget, and I can say this. If this is how this government is going to run, it will fail.
All right, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
I'm hoping that
Professor
they can use this as an
Who you
experience
want
and
to
get
bring
it.
in, man? You said
Huh?
Pee-wee. You said
So let
Pee-wee.
me-
No, I
Larry.
saw Pee-wee hand up. I was
Yeah.
trying to tell him that we would get Professor Kennedy because Pee-wee just spoke. That's what I was trying to
Okay, let me pull back.
So I
let
just
Professor
spoke.
Kennedy-
Gentlemen, I'll be taking my.
spoken then.
Gentlemen, you
No,
have to be
Musa,
quiet
Professor
talking.
Kennedy.
Well, hold on a second, Rep. So I know the question came up in terms of where the money has gone. With the budget being reduced by 40 million or so that I'm hearing. But let me ask you this question. Over the past 4 years, has Liberia posted a budget surplus?
I'll ask your question with a comment. Because besides being a businessman, I'm an economist. A budget surplus is a sign of inefficiency. I don't want you to know that.
I agree.
A budget surplus is a sign of inefficiency. It means that you raise more money
And you know what to do.
and you did not plan how to use it.
Yep.
This is not a conservative. You don't be conservative and run a country. The country that you guys are sitting in there owes trillions of dollars.
Yep.
And that's how they survive. So that the question you asked me, Professor, I believe that it is at the bedrock of the Unity Party decision to be less ambitious, so that at the end of the budget period, they can satisfy the Facebooker to say we overperform. My brother, there are 80 to 90% of Liberians that don't come on Facebook. The only thing they know is that we now move Joe we replace him with Joseph Boaga, our life can change. Things can be different. That all. So they're looking every month to, and we in April. April is the 4th month of the year. It's going down. Then they say, but what will happen now? Then people say, no, starting from next year. That perception is what killed George Weah. When
Let me, I got your point, but let me button it up. Let me button it up real quick, because I think you're saying things that not totally, I don't agree with. I will not say it's accurate, but I'll just say I don't agree with it. And let me tell you why. The U.S. is able to run a deficit because the U.S. has AAA credit rating with a big credit rating agency. Liberia doesn't have any credit rating. So when you run a budget deficit, you need to borrow money to make up that deficit. So the money you're talking about that is not there is because they're trying to make it, and this is just my perception, they're trying to make the budget a little bit more realistic. In 2020, they had about $115 million budget deficit. They have to close that gap. They have to borrow the money from somewhere. Bear in mind, they don't have a credit rating. Where can they go to borrow money? It's usually the IMF, or it's usually the World Bank, or one of the other supranational banks to get the money. So when we say America's running a deficit, true, because America can take its AAA credit rating, go to Wall Street, they borrow money from Ireland, they borrow money from the Japanese, the Chinese, and a whole lot of the other super big countries. So America can do that. Liberia, we're not there. So when you have a budget of like 700 and something million, which was totally unrealistic, because we've been running budget deficit and do not have the ability to close that gap. For example, we all sitting over here. Let's say we have a budget of like $10,000. But we know we can only raise $8,000. Where is the other $2,000 going to come from? Usually, people can go and borrow to close that gap. But if you have no means of getting that $2,000, where are you going to get that from? Isn't it more realistic to set the budget at $8,000 so you don't get a deficit?
Professor Kennedy, I was not the one campaigning with them.
But I'm just giving you the realism of the numbers, because
I mean, for me,
people are asking where the 40 million went.
Yeah, but
I am a politician. If someone tells me I can run your country better, that yardstick is the budget.
Finish.
Right. But the 40 million you were asking for, they're simply trying to make the budget more realistic because they know they couldn't raise the $700 and something million. So that's one thing. But I agree with you.
No. I'm not. First of all, I want you to understand that I'm not measuring them on what the other budget, the George Weah 2024 budget was. That never came. I'm measuring them on what George Weah 2023 budget was.
Yeah.
The time they were running the campaign and the condition the people were living in.
Yeah, but
they
when you
knew the
ask the question,
state of our country.
When you ask the question, where did the money go? The money was never there because they were running a budget deficit. I was just trying to explain that point. But I agree that people making the promises in terms of they can do this, they can do that, but it's not reflected in the budget. So I agree with you. Certain things are not reflected in the budget, and that needs to be addressed.
But I've read the budget, a professor, and I'm not the one that is being paid the finance minister payroll. So if he takes the money, he needs to tell me where it went.
I agree.
I'm sorry. He didn't tell me that it went to take care of budget deficit.
But the budget was not
there. That's my job.
Okay, I agree. So he didn't explain it. He didn't explain it.
So what you are saying to me is not acceptable to me because you are not the finance minister, and therefore
you are assuming point, Larry. You're trying to help him,
and therefore your statement could be wrong.
Bama, Larry, Bama Kamara, friend, trying to help him.
Because at the end of the day, let Bama Kamara tell me I took out $29 million from the legislature because at the end of the year, that ended up being money that we did not raise. So therefore, it is a deficit. Because I know what is the deficit. All right. So, yeah.
Don't mind Larry.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, if you said to the people that you would change your life, and you saw George Weah running the country, you saw the budget of 2023, you said the payroll is bad, you will carry up, you said the living condition is bad, you said investors will come, you said the international community will pour money into you, you did not even have the confidence to ask for money. Or tell us, we who the lawmakers, that I don't want to ask the money because I don't have any rating because we have been backed up by the CDC government.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Don't mind Larry with all his credit rating talk here. Lofa come in, we go to Grace and then Peewee, then Robert.
Mr. Chairman, I think tonight you just made my point that I try to make on this platform.
Anything radical he appreciates.
And no, it's not that, but it's the fact that some of us, we vision a better Liberia for those that are coming after us, because we don't want to sit on these platforms in the next 10 or 15 years from now and say, yeah, we were part of Liberia politics, but have nothing to really show for our contribution. So when we have when we have the likes of Mr. Peabody, who come from a background where, I mean, he was involved with business and he's shown it to the, to the like of our people to say, look, I did not just come here simply because I want your money, but I'm utilizing my skill set in a professional environment. And that is why I'm focusing on the budget as a key aspect of, development, growth, and providing to the people. I must commend him as compared to the likes of Darius Dillon and other people who came from nowhere.
I knew Dillon was coming.
No, I mean, I'm just saying for what do you expect? I'm just saying this. What do you expect from a Darius Dillon who came from nowhere and simply was considered for that position? But you can see that from the result of Representative Peabody, he actually is coming from the place of, I know what I want, and because of my background, I'm going to invest in it. With that said, Mr. Peabody, I just want to say continue to do what you're doing, because some of us are watching And if you slip off, we will come at you in a very again professional way, but you hear from us. But here's my question to you. For the sake of all of us, those of us who have not had the opportunity to peruse the budget like you have done, I'm pretty sure you have had your team of accountants go through the budget and they pinpoint parts of the budget that you disagree with. That's why you're frowning here tonight publicly on this radio saying the budget is nothing. In fact, you consider the budget trash. Where are some key components of that budget that you're really pissed off with? Just give us at least 3 or 4 parts of that budget that you looked at and said, nonsense, trash this nonsense right now.
Good question.
Nima County.
Good question.
Last year, the CDC budget gave the Nima County University $1.8 million. This budget cut it by 300,000.
Oh,
wow.
Education.
And Nima voted for them.
Yes. We met them today.
Looking for trouble.
No, but you see, we met them today, Ben. We met them today. So we make the case to the people. And so that way, hopefully, and again, we're playing to their tune. We're not going to say we increase the budget. We know where the monies are heading. We'll go after it and reappropriate them. That is our constitutional right. Nobody can tell us what to do. You bring your budget, the Constitution says we will appropriate. Appropriation means take it here and put it here. That's why appreciation, we will do that. So that is one. That is just one area where the budget fall short. The other area that really bothers me is that we have a 15% share in Meter Steel. Meter Steel has been in Liberia for over almost 20 years. According to them, they have not posted any profit, but they continue to work and invest. And the governor of Liberia should, and we do have the chance to renew. Meter Steel agreement is up for renewal. That's how you behave ambitious. Tell Meter Steel, and we're working on that. We don't want to do any more this thing you call give me how you call this thing?
Corporate social responsibility.
Royalty.
Okay.
We want share as a country. We are partners. Give us our share. $400 million. We should have at least $100 million out of that money with 25% share. We should have been ambitious enough to go after that. All of the mines in this country, none of them are giving anything. Millions of dollars leaving our country.
Wow.
So there was no attempt to go after those things. Balance of trade. There was an executive order by President Weah that is horrible, bad for rubber. Guess what? The United Party keeps that. And now rubber planters are going to strike tomorrow because they have now forced everybody to buy from one person.
From Jetty.
Remember now, Jetty is buying it lower than the international.
For what?
Price. If Jetty were buying it at international price, then there's no problem.
And there's no problem. That's true. I agree.
You understand? Then there's no problem. You should buy all. So all of that are the things that are wrong with it. Just a few. 3. No improvement in the condition of the average worker. Zero improvement. Zero. No improvement.
I just want you to I want you to clarify something for me. You mentioned education, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you mention education, are you saying that they cut back on funds for education. Is that what you stated earlier?
Yes, take the budget and go under Nimba University.
Mm-hmm.
We were with Nimba University. The president and the entire staff came to us today.
Mm-hmm.
They received $1.8 million from George Weah government.
Mm-hmm.
This government is telling them that they can only get them 1.5 million.
So the educated people don't value education. Thank you.
Exactly.
Ben.
Yes.
So who will go to Peewee, right? Yeah, Peewee.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. former CEO of.
You.
Yeah, thank you, Chief. Two concerns I have. I've been looking through the budget process, and we'll go more deeper. But again, Article 34 of the Constitution gave you the powers as the legislature to go more deeper into these things, and you got some constitutional responsibility as lawmaker. Because I listened to you just now say you're going to reallot or reallocate. That is given to you through the Constitution of the Republic. But I was trying to look here at the domestic debt. I don't know if your attention went to domestic debt. We got the amount we have for domestic debt. Is there any budget policy to have almost 60, I don't get, I'm gonna be wrong, $60+ million? Is there any policy that is targeting to where is the money is going particularly? For instance, if it is the Liberian Society for this, the old days, or the Liberian business institution, the money is going, but then they didn't specify as to where and how the money should be applied. And I was very concerned to bring your attention to that, Mr. Honorable Chairman and Honorable Representative, to look into that. Before the Ellen administration used to be general claims, but they changed the nomenclature under this regime. The guy and that's in the full form. They got some money there, but there's nothing allotted. There's no prescriptive spending policy to that amount of million of dollars in that era also. What basically is the husk from your perspective? How you guys want to respond to most of those as you explain?
So that's why I was telling you that it was annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they took all this money and put it on the finance ministry.
Yeah.
With no description. What I have heard is that under domestic debt is but the obligation of government like to IMF and all those things. But it's not written. You need to be very clear. This budget will not leave room for any budgetary manipulation. Every dime will be defined and its usage authorized. And we'll also put in this budget for the Minister of Finance to move one budgetary item to another. You must seek the approval of the legislature.
Excellent.
Do you have the support of a majority of your colleagues on this?
Oh, all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, but an amendment, please.
Yeah.
Yes, too. Would you have the domestic debt and international debt? I'm specifically referring to the domestic debt, the debt owned to Liberian businesses, Liberian entrepreneurs, and the rest of that.
People are coming. I need to charge this thing.
Yes. Yeah, and lastly, I wanted to ask you this question quickly. He will take time to answer in a few seconds. There's this woman moving on about removing the current speaker. Is he going to support that? So I just wanted to take a few seconds and also comment on that. That's important.
And by the way, Ben, when you guys have time, something happened at the House. There was a video out there where I think a group of representatives were wearing orange T-shirt. I just want, hopefully we can play that video and get his reaction, what really happened, what was going on, because it wasn't really clear why they were wearing orange T-shirt or what it was. I think some people say
I think it was a war crime code.
War crime code?
Yeah, I think
war crime code thing. Do it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can still ask. I still want to know like what his view on that though. I would like to bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just end with him. Then you can come in.
Then we'll kind of wrap up because we need to.
It's almost 8 o'clock now. Almost. Yeah.
Yeah, so honorable, so that was the point.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I wanted you to just take a few seconds to answer this issue. There's this issue that we're hearing, it's unconfirmed, and let me make this disclaimer. I don't want to be saying that I'm saying it. We hear information that it's an attempt to dethrone the current Speaker of the House. Will you participate in removing the Speaker, if it is true?
There's no attempt. You will never be removed.
Okay.
Wow.
I love how he speak authoritatively.
I speak on authority.
With authority. Like
There's the chairman on national security. National security.
Yeah, so it is true that the guy, people saying that the guy, people being security person being allowed in the city is true. Wow.
No, man, that's not true.
Okay, Robert, come in with your question. So
we're doing okay here. You know that the thing about it is that I didn't support Kofa at all. But honestly, he has turned out to be an excellent leader. And I support him. And if he were to come back again, I will support him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I think that the 2 points I want to emphasize on, because we talk about the $40 million that we don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
And I don't want to mention his name before, because I don't want to. I'm sick of hearing his name now, so I will not mention his name. But yeah, I think you all know who I'm talking about. But
who is that? Who is that?
We don't know, Robert.
Robert, who is that?
I'm talking about the fake light, man. Y'all know who the fake light is. The one who went to business class to say hello to a friend. That's who I'm talking about.
Yeah, the time.
But let me ask you this. You said that they cut in education. $1.8 million was allocated under the George Weah administration. They cut that by $300,000.
Wow.
You also said that there was an executive order with regards to rubber that was passed by George Weah, which has been kept under this party. Here is my question to you. And I also know now that they will not touch the free education scheme put in place by the former president. Here's my question. Is it fair to assert that the Unity Party were actually envious of George Weah's policies? Because it seemed like either they are doing, when it comes to education, he supported education wholeheartedly. It may not have been enough, but he supported education. And he put in place a lot of things. There are a lot of things that they will not redo that George Weah did. But when it comes to education, are you surprised? Would you say that they're using the George Weah playbook to their benefits? And the promises that were made with regards to making the people's lives better are not being kept? What are your thoughts on that?
Believe me, it's a very tough question, because I still cannot, and I'm struggling with not the answer. I'm struggling with the reality of your question. That in fact, people in a Unity Party government will be literally footstepping the George Weah government in every shape and form.
Wow.
Asset recovery. I mean, same thing. The Ministry of Justice under George Weah set up one team. Say they're working with the Solicitor General, say the recovering asset, nothing came out of it. This one is even worse. The president set up a team with no authorization from the Minister of Justice. Nothing came out of it. I mean, nothing is going to come out of it. And then we that's one thing. Then George Weah, that all of us claim is not educated, this and this, give so much to education, and then this government is literally wiping it out. I don't even know what would be the justification to the parents who have to pay their school fees, But I don't see a government as just the executive branch. We are also part of the government. So if one branch does something, we'll correct it. We'll put the money where it belongs. But it is disturbing and disappointing.
All right. We only got 10 minutes left. Mr. Chairman, I wanted to ask you a quick question and then we can close on this with you. This issue of, I know the Supreme Court is supposed to opine on the issue of the 10-year positions. I know they're waiting. Maybe you may not want to preempt what they're going to say, but I want to know your opinion on it and what do you think should be the way forward here? Let's just say the Supreme Court comes back and reaffirm its original hearing opinion on this issue, where they said, a contract is a contract. Before you break a contract, you have to have cause, and there should be penalties and stuff like that. Would you, because we're also talking about the issue of money here, right? Squeezing money here and there, trying to figure it out. There's a potential here if they're trying to replace the tenured people. There's a potential here, Musa, to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to people just so almost kind of like double billing the government, double billing the Liberian people, right? Remove one group of people, pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars, or bring another group of people to also pay them thousands of dollars. What are your thoughts on this?
First of all, there is something called intent.
Mm-hmm.
When you quote, intent is very important. I don't think the government even intend to pay these people. They just want to lie to them. Because if they intended to pay them, they would have anticipated that and put it in the budget. Where in the budget is it?
Okay.
Where do we get the money from? If it's not in the budget, where is it coming from?
Where is it?
No, but Chief, those institutions are autonomous agencies that can generate. Listen keenly the last. I'm sorry. Let me just say this for the purpose of education, so you can move. You can use that as an instrument to move on. These are autonomous institutions that are raising their own budget. They got their own financial autonomy.
Bossman,
Buju Ben Keita said the institution will raise the money. That's what he said. I just wanted to bring that up. Go ahead.
You know what? Buju Ben Keita did not go on the front line and get elected. So I'm not here to answer what he said. I represent the people. There would be no entity of the Republic of Liberia that would not present a budget to the national legislature for us to know exactly what you are going to use, what you are going to raise, and what you're going to do with it. Okay. Because if there's excess, we're going to take it and put it in the national budget.
You mean autonomous agency?
Every revenue generating
enterprises,
SOEs, every generating agency of government will come before the legislature to come and bring their budget. And that budget will show what you're going to do with the money that you are raising, and then the excess money, instead of you keeping it to give it to people that you want to remove, we'll take it and put it to go build schools and hospitals for our people.
Are you going to repeal those? Sorry, quick. It's important here, quick. And this is a very serious thing. Are you going to repeal those? Because the SOEs, it says that in the act that created most of the SOEs says that the board shall approve their budget. I'm bringing this to your attention, honorable lawmaker. The board. So are you going back and repealing most of those acts? For instance, LPRC, Freeport, NASCO. Are we going back to repeal and say it will not go back?
No, here's how it works. Here's how it works. The legislature has overall oversight.
Yes.
So what comes to us is an approved operational budget of an SOE, right? So you bring it to us. The managing director is not going to come to us with a proposed budget. He's coming to us with a budget that has been approved. We will look at it. If he say we got $10 million that want build new tank farm, for instance, FPRC, we'll say we don't want 10 farm. Bring the $10 million. It's going so.
Okay. Before Keff and take
Sylvester, you get my point?
Yeah, I'm getting you, Chief.
Yeah, so we still have that authority.
Okay.
To say this is the board represent the entity. They made a decision that this year NPA, for instance, is going to make 50 million, but we want to invest 20 million in building 5 more offices. And we'll look at that when they present their budget will say, this 5 million, no, we need to build hospital in Peabody.
I think the first time
Or
we start saying that. I mean, thank
So
God
take
the time is back.
that expansion packet and take the money and put it there. We'll pass it into law. Once we pass it into law, any other law that is there before is not involved.
Excellent. It have not been happening. Good.
Yeah,
Good
quickly,
news.
before Kev take us home. Representability. I heard that all the people that are running for by-election, in a by-election for Vice President Kun's seat, they all came to you for endorsement. But why you not endorsing anyone?
Yeah.
The chairman.
You know what?
They say you the vice godfather.
Yeah, why you not endorsing any of the people that are running for Kun's seat?
My
Bad
brother,
thing.
I'm not member of the Unity Party government. I do not support Unity Party. The people that are running, all of them are affiliated with Unity Party. And I got nothing to do with them.
This guy like you.
Yeah.
Kefigo,
take us home, please.
Chairman of the National Security, right?
The good Kefigo.
I mean, yeah. So, Kev, I'm very right now. I'm looking at the sea. I'm very secure.
you might increase the police budget, the police and the fire budget.
Yeah, we are increasing the DA budget.
How about fire?
By almost 100%.
Wow.
So
people say, before look, and this is some of the joke, right? The whole war on drugs.
Yeah.
No money for it.
Illinois, right?
They said they wanted drug test.
But no, Ben, you listen to the pie. The DA personnel is $1.5 million. You know how much budget the government said DA must save us from drug way? $2 million. That includes the $1.5 million for personnel.
Wow.
So it's just 500,000.
So far,
Yes.
So that nothing will happen. Nothing.
Drugs.
Wow. I told you the boys.
You are even disincentivizing them.
There's absolutely no plan to do anything.
Absolutely.
At least he went or what?
You got to
No,
go.
I've
I think he went blank.
Wait. I've done something. That will.
That computer.
Jesus.
A new iPad.
Damn. I don't know what's going
I don't think you know how to work it.
But for the chairman to say that the budget are joke, they're not budget. That budget, but they will run the government all budget for Monzo.
Yeah.
And nobody back. Yeah, you back.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this. One question, but there's three parts.
Sure.
Are you gonna call Gregory Coleman to come and answer some question as a chairman of security there?
I've done that already.
You already. Thank you.
Most of my hearing, I
Classified. They have to be
classified.
classified. Yeah. National security.
So I've called the entire security.
I won't go by
So you already called him to come and testify? You already called him to come and testify, or he testified behind closed door?
No, we've done preliminary, but you have to publicly defend his budget.
So he will come and
he has to defend his budget.
Not only on the budget, on the incident that happened in King George. Yeah.
There's a report. A report was submitted.
They passed on the report today, Kev.
Yesterday.
Are you Muslim, man?
Well, I'm trying to educate you. You asking questions.
No. I need.
Then you ask me, I gave
The
you
chairman
right for you to ask questions.
Ben, let me ask the chairman, my man. You ask the chairman.
The chairman will not discuss sensitive security issues.
Exactly. Chairman, you said you're going to call him to kind of testify publicly, right?
No. to defend the budget.
Okay, but the King George he will not come take the stand on.
We have a funding on King George already. So
okay, so let me ask you this again. Let's go to the budget. So there will be no free tuition. There will be no free tuition for university or WAS fee in this budget. There's nothing they're talking about.
You know, I need to reserve that answer because I haven't perused that. The only education institution that watch is if what I saw in Nimba is what's going all over, it's bad. But
so
there's nothing for free tuition. Nothing.
If you go through
I
that,
don't know.
If you go through that,
I'll check it
it's nothing there.
I've been, you know, they have different committees on different things.
Yeah.
I'm mostly involved with the security. I'm responsible for the entire security sector in the budget.
Yeah. Mr. Before you continue, there's no money for
guys.
I come with me, there's no money for WAS. There's no money for
We gotta go. We don't have time.
But y'all gave Keff his time now.
Yeah, man. Oh man. Yeah. So at this moment, if let's say you go through the budget, right? There's no WAS, there's no.
It's not there, Kev.
Well, let the man land, Sylvester.
Sylvester.
Let this man land. He know what he want to ask. Let him land.
Okay,
he goes straight and ask that question. It's not there.
Sylvester,
Yeah, go ahead.
Sylvester, I know it's not there, but
the people that
don't
know that.
The chairman said.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You know, he got to go through the budget, right?
Yeah. Kev, let's go. I'm ready for your.
If you go through the budget and you don't see it there, what would be your position? That's my question.
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Kev, you know, I will do nothing. And let me tell you why. You know, this country, I come in. This country, the Liberian people will have to learn the highway. Yes. The choices they make, they will enjoy it and they will suffer it.
I'm appealing for them, please. I'm appealing for them.
I will do nothing.
No, please do something.
No.
I'm appealing for them.
What will I do?
Do it again.
But the fire,
me, all my children, and I leave high school. So
how about the fire incident? All the fire that happened, every day fire.
We gotta go, man. We gotta go.
Yeah, we put money in the budget for fire trucks and national disaster and stuff like that.
Thank you, Mr.
We
Chairman.
want to get at least 15 fire trucks.
Mr. Chairman, I got plenty of questions for you, but I'll be in Liberia. I'll visit you.
So, Mr. Chairman, can you come next week as special guest because we want?
Of course.
Mr. Chairman,
yeah, they won't run.
Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta go.
How many in your France?
You know what? They won't run.
I think only 9 or 10.
Only 9.
Okay, let's announce. You say you come next week, right? Because by Monday,
anytime you want me to come.
Tomalin, by Monday we'll have you a special guest.
Yeah, Monday, Senator McGill, right?
Yeah, Senator McGill.
And then on Wednesday, the CSA, the Civil Service Director General.
So I can come Friday. That's fine.
So he'll come to talk about the 40,000 people.
You can pay for a special show. Don't worry.
Then you really want to talk about that? You want me to talk?
No, I'm making
about the boy. Hey. Kev, yeah, about the boy.
Thank you. Well, thank you for popping in. We thank you for the.
Yeah, but you're doing well, man. I saw your project, Nima.
I did a podcast tonight. You know.
Yeah. Well, I'll go back and watch it. Yeah, I just saw
that.
I gotta say, I'm surprised.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. I can't say much, but I'm surprised with a lot of stuff that you're doing.
Thank you. We are trying to get the Ministry of Commerce, the PPCC, and all of the organizations, because we have a law that says every procurement there must be a 25% Liberian component.
Great.
So we send in for it. So I wrote the plenary. It was on my post today. The letter was on my post today. So they sent for the Minister of Commerce is coming tomorrow. We're going to police the budget. And I've told Liberians, any any contract PPCC sign, once it doesn't have the Liberian component, let them flag it to me. We'll stop that contract.
Mr. Billy, ask the Minister of Commerce tomorrow.
We will enforce Liberianization
Policy.
of our economy through the budget where we have power.
And please extend it to jobs too. Please extend it to
We to our own economy. That's
Mr.
good.
Once the law that we put in, the immigration law, and I can tell you it's coming up next week.
Please.
I have the assurance of the members of the House. It will pass with flying color. And once that bill passes, it will also protect all unskilled workforce for Liberians. So the Ministry of Labor, the immigration will not issue license or work permit to any foreigner that is unskilled. So all unskilled labor would be strictly for Liberia.
Now there is a representation in the House.
Yeah, special guest. Special guest.
Y'all please leave Musa alone. Y'all didn't
Mr. Benedict,
y'all complaining. Y'all care y'all
the comment minister tomorrow. I want you to ask the comment minister this question tomorrow quickly, Mr. Benedict. The comment minister, quickly, Ben. The current minister, I think in recent time has not been paying premium for his employee at the NASCO into almost $32,200. Asking this question, when will he pay NASCO? He has not been paying this money. So he's telling you up 32,200 up there about. Asking when he will pay this money to.
He's not coming as a businessman. He's coming as Minister of Commerce.
Exactly.
So that business question there. I can ask you a business. And I know as a Liberian business person, I know what Liberian businesses are going through. Okay. So if someone is not able to pay that money, believe me.
So you defending him already on that. So it's okay.
Yes, because that's why we are going now to make sure that this law, it means that with 600 million, it means that over 100 million will go to Liberians. You know what that means for our economy and all of us? Even the very show here.
What about the show?
The show will get something.
the show will get something.
You gotta tell Ben Tomalin and Keff to not keep by themselves.
Anyway, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Thank you. That is why they complain to the mansion. You get? They say you are criminal, by the way. They say you are criminal.
Oh, Ben, leave that thing alone, man.
No, they say you are criminal. So all the thing you're doing, you just doing it for your people. Do your people, your district people, leave Liberian people. And leave with me, they will lay off the 40,000 people, and then they won't going to go vote for United Party and go.
Yeah, that 40,000 story, my hand out there. I tell
exactly.
You,
leave it.
The Liberian people, at some point in time, we will have to learn to vote for the right people.
Yes.
We have to learn to. Some of us struggle too much to be elected. Some people just glad through
just walk the way through.
So at the end of the day, the right people will force the people. So me, I want to hear no complaint about salary increment, WIAC, unemployment, because you know what?
You voted for that.
Listening.
On Tuesday, you'll be our special guest. I have a question for you. On Tuesday,
thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll see you.
Tuesday, right?
Yeah,
Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Guys, it was a great show.
Before I go, man, this guy, okay, I want my friend James Finlay. His wife's birthday was on yesterday. Dextina Johnson. I want to say happy birthday to her on behalf of James Finlay, one of our regular follower.
All right, so
once again, Dextina Johnson from James Finlay and from me too. Happy birthday, my dear sister. Thank you.
Check out the show. Damn, man. Great show. I gotta run.
Damn, but Ben, you better run, yo.
My man, leave me, man.
Well, I don't know. I'll be. I don't know. I'll be here Friday because I'll be going to Charlotte for that funeral. So
okay,
maybe we'll do the show together. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do for that together.
Yeah,
but you guys will.
All right,
great conversation, guys. I think, and I agree with Musa. Listen, I want you to no complaining from anybody.
Also, when the man comes, your question to the man. You see as the boss coming, man. The man coming Wednesday. Your question to the man.
Yes, let them go through the civil service thing. I support the civil service in this endeavor. Let them scrutinize all those people who were hired. Whatever happened, let them go ahead.
So Joe, we are and CDC somewhat laughing right now.
Yeah, let them go through the books.
Wire fee?
Go by the books.
Nima University? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
All right, guys. Studio, come and take that thing over, yeah? I don't know if they...
No, he's not there. The kid said
he had to leave.
He had to leave. Not, I can't. Oh,
That's good night. Love, I'll see you.
all right, man.